Hey,
Zero B with
do you-
one of my favorite names.
yeah. Do you guys know why cows wear bells?
No, why?
Because their horns don't work.
Oh, it isn't to get to the other side? Sorry.
You know what
I
you call a
can't give you that
cow?
one.
You know what you call a cow that doesn't produce milk?
No, what?
A milk dud.
Dad jokes.
Look what I got.
Jesus.
Dad
Oh,
jokes.
Christ.
what I
It's been
got.
brought. Oh, you monster!
Yeah,
been
his
brought
wife
to my
gave it to him
attention.
for
Well, this
a
is,
birthday
you know,
present.
we got at least 5 years of content here.
Yeah. So good evening.
Oh. Good
Hi,
evening.
how's it going?
Hello, Andrea.
Sandy's
Hello,
back.
Jake. Hello, Matt.
Jake
Yes.
is back.
Yes.
Sandy finally deciding to join us again. Ugh.
Oh,
So
I
I'm
know.
just
I
gonna-
missed one episode.
I'm going to put out the elephant in the room.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
Henry
Early.
Kissinger dies last week.
Jake was
seemingly-
mourning, right?
Well, where was half the show?
Yeah, right.
Ooh.
What kind of espionage were you guys up to? What kind
In
of
the grassy
covert
knoll
or
next to
Just
Sam
making
Cedar.
jokes with my family and sending funny memes back and forth.
You know, I
Oh.
read a headline from Rolling Stone. We were reading headlines, and people were like, "Oh, diplomat passes away at 100," and all this stuff. And then there was one from
Diplomat.
Rolling Stone that was
Yeah.
like went viral. That turns out, I didn't realize it. That was Spencer Ackerman's. He had written Kissinger's obituary well in advance,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and
yeah.
that headline and everything. And they
Well,
just
they wrote it 20 years ago. And they just had to
That's
keep
funny.
updating it.
That would not be unreasonable.
No,
Truly.
it wouldn't
Right.
have been.
But the gang's
That's
all
so
here.
cool.
I screwed up and thought Dan from the internet was joining us this week.
Hi,
He's
man.
joining us next Wednesday.
Next week. Good.
Yeah.
Well, I think
should
we can
be
all
fun.
agree that the least responsible member of Left Past 10 is Matt. Just
If
gonna keep
anything,
second.
deflecting.
if anything, I mean that's a good get, right?
That's a huge. I'm so
Okay.
excited. I found out about it listening to you.
Live. So my thing
Yes.
is, I'm just gonna get certain people that I assume will be okay with, and not run them by you first. There's
Yes.
tonight's guest, Max the dog,
Hello,
Yay.
Matt. Who's a good boy.
with a bunch
Yay.
of carrots.
Bunch of carrot. Yeah. They look
That,
pretty
by the
damn
way,
healthy
is
to
a-
me.
Whoops. That's a great plan, Matt. Yeah.
Playing with my
Is that
desk.
okay?
Basically, my word, if they've been on your show, in fact, let me go farther. It's best if I don't know about it. If I could somehow take away the information that Dan from the internet will be here, because that's all I'm going to think about until next week, is that I'm going to be talking to a guy that I've seen on my screen before.
Well, maybe he'll cancel. You know what happens to me? This is really weird. This happened when I was interviewing the Movies versus Capitalism folks the other day.
All
When
right.
was that? Last Wednesday?
That was interesting too. I thought.
Yeah, they're so cool. I do
Mhm.
this thing where I'm so used to watching their shows that during the interview, I'm just listening to them talk and I'm like, oh shit,
That's
that
my
I'm
nightmare.
supposed to be interacting.
That happened to me earlier when I just showed up here. Because I don't know if this is if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm joining Jake tonight in my brainwave style. So
Ooh, where's
when
the
I showed up,
sympathy?
y'all and Sandy were just talking to each other, and I was like, "Wow, this is a nice podcast. I could
Yes.
listen to this."
Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's what do you call inside baseball? Yeah. Maybe we
Yeah.
should have a Patreon where people get to tune in 10 minutes early and listen to Matt complain, which I never do on air.
It's okay, Matt. We got it. It's
And
catharsis.
use a bunch of F-bombs.
Wow. That's called a rant. And we do it on our channel.
Yeah.
I do.
I mean,
You know,
I do.
I don't know. I definitely didn't. Oh my God, what a cutie. I don't think I told anybody except my live audience tonight. I'm doing a major and hey, Tyler Hackner, a
Yeah.
major
looking at this.
change to my channel.
You are.
Somewhat related to what we were talking about, which by the way, I would not mind talking about further. But I'm until I finish that cartoon that I'm working on, that is now about a month and a half overdue. I'm not going live unless I have something specific to talk about, like an issue of the day, which is so distracting from working on that I feel I must. But yeah, I'm just gonna shut
but-
down the live show for a while.
That's what
every
I
day
did.
there-
I can
Yeah,
offer
you
you
did.
some great advice for doing
Yeah.
that.
You can do
You know, you
videos,
just turn it off.
do the
Well,
occasional
you were
video.
doing everyday shows, weren't you? Every day.
Yeah, I
That was-
mean,
it's
yes,
exhausting. I don't know how you could do it. Andrea did it too.
mostly just to get familiar with YouTube. I can now say I spent a year truly getting ruining my illusions about what YouTube would be, and I enjoy it. But and I will go back to that certainly and expand to Twitch. But I can't stress enough how overdue this thing is. It's approaching the point of irrelevance if I don't get it out. So, gotta happen.
You
Yeah, I
can
mean,
come on my
Kissinger's
show
already
more.
dead. You know, we're running out of time here.
Yeah, I mean,
it only took 100 years.
I mean, the subject is Doug Ford. That's not an unreasonable. He does not live a healthy
No.
lifestyle.
Doug Ford's next.
He's next.
Yeah.
there's been plenty of times where I was like, I wish I could get Jake to come on tonight, but he's doing his own show. So now maybe if you're not
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
But also
Yeah,
we
he
have
is.
this. So it's not like you're, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm still I've got this, and I probably will still be live every week for a significant amount of time. I'm just taking the schedule away. I'm just not gonna say that I will definitely be someplace at some time, with the exception of left past 10, so that I can get this effing thing done.
Okay.
Apparently, doing a cartoon has a lot of work involved. Ugh.
Well, yeah, you're creating the graphics and then you're also making it into a video, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I thought I
that's
could clever my way out
a
of it. I
lot.
let Matt in on the systems I was using. I thought I'd like
Oh,
cheat
I
my
wanted
way
to
out of it.
know. You're not using AI. I mean, you're actually creating your characters and you're using lots of graphic programs and then putting them together in
Yeah.
one video editor, which is
I mean,
cool.
I'm not using AI, but don't give me credit for that. I tried.
Mm.
I tried to use it. It just didn't work good enough.
Do any of you use Blender? Because I'm going to take some
Also tried.
courses. Well, I'm
Really?
going to try. Well, a friend of mine has a channel. He's retiring his channel. He's going to have a new channel. Everybody that's on my channel knows Vegematic Deluxe is retiring, but he is a real graphic artist. So he sent me these courses, but they're in small chunks where I won't be overwhelmed. So I can do it
Okay.
and learn and possibly do my own graphics instead of using Canva. Who knows?
You know, 3D animation is tough. I personally find, but I will say, if you're going to invest your time and a significant amount
try.
of time, the one in a program like that, Blender is not a bad choice. Blender is it's been improved over years and years and years. It was
Yeah.
once upon a time it was a joke. Now it's essentially, as far as I can tell, the leader of the pack in terms of free-ish software,
Well,
and
I'm
it seems
going
to
to
have a very long life
try.
ahead of it.
Why not? And if I
Yeah,
don't like it or I don't feel it, I'll just continue using Canva and making them easy.
I do like. I mean, to be continued. I like your style a lot.
Hmm.
I suspect no matter
Well,
what you use, it's going to be similar. It's your
we'll see.
vibe,
Oh, my doomy vibe? Yeah, okay.
and just I don't
Did
know.
someone say doom?
Yeah, Andrea, is that
You
your
go
cue?
bright.
I have a question about AI.
Mhm.
All right.
I was researching tennis ball machines that like pitch the tennis ball to you. Do you think that is directly opposed to my stance against AI technology?
They've
Well, it
been around a
depends.
No,
long
Does the
time.
machine like track your movements? Like, would it adjust? Like, oh, this guy sucks, so let's put him
Oh.
out slower.
I can adjust that, but it doesn't do it. It doesn't read it
I think that's the
for me.
line, is if it
Okay.
adjusts
And
itself.
also, how long have they been in manufacture? A long time.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
I've never used it.
So is it
it.
intuitive?
mm,
Do you use a
No,
dishwasher?
I honestly
that's
think
what I'm saying.
the learning
Or
model all we have for AI right now is a learning model, taking a
Right.
bunch of different experiences and filtering out the irrelevant. The only thing I have against AI is the thing I have against everything that I have something against capitalism's involvement in it. I don't like that right now people that will charge for the AI are able to pirate other people's work in order to
Mm.
create things with it. That's my beef. But in answer to your hypothetical, which was asked in a much more lighthearted manner than this, no, I don't think it's against your stance, because your stance has generally, from what I've seen, been focused on
Right.
the art end of it.
yeah, and honestly, like, and first of all, my dishwasher broke like 15 years ago, and I was like, I'm not replacing that. I'm just gonna wash dishes by hand from now on.
Look
I'm
at
not
this
lazy.
fucking situation we got here, by the way.
Oh.
Look at
But I
this.
think
You need more light. I see the tail. Wag, wag, wag. Happy dog.
if AI was created
Yeah.
to do
There's like
menial
60
stuff,
toys right
sure.
here.
Right.
Yeah.
What
But
about Chat GPT?
no, see, it's like the first thing they do is like, here's how we can make art quick and easy. And I always say this, so I know I'm a broken record, but when I look at art, the first thing I generally think of, if I'm impressed by it, is how did they do that?
Right.
And the AI takes all the fun out of that. It's like,
Yeah.
they push some fucking buttons or whatever. I don't
I
know,
agree.
but
It certainly isn't human art. So, I mean, there's going to be a distinction. Do you want to go see computer generated art or do you want to see human art?
yeah,
And it should be told.
but this is the thing. Like, if it was somehow improving the infrastructure of the world,
Yeah. No,
okay,
it's not.
AI takes away jobs so people don't get paid
Mhm.
instead of people getting paid, even though AI is going to do that job now.
All right.
That's the world I'm looking for. That's the way we benefit from AI, not as viewers, but as workers. Like, we need to look at this in terms of we all benefit from it, not some people are now shit out of luck thanks to AI, which is the reality. So that's where I want.
Yeah.
That's why I'm opposed to it, but not.
And
I
then the
mean, if it
capitalists will say something else will
right,
come along to employ those people in an ever growing economy of wonderful future jobs. Yes, I
teach the coal miners how to write code. Easy.
know.
I
I
do
don't know.
think
I mean,
no
this.
matter what way we end up going with it, step one is I would like to see. I think step one should be this, which is rules that say if something is made with AI, just like how cigarettes cause cancer, if something's made with AI, it needs to be labeled as such, AI assisted or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, is it so far? Most, I mean, I can tell
There's no
there's
rule that says it has to be.
not yet,
That's the problem.
but this is
then
the
we
United
should
States.
take care of that quickly before there's somebody who is rich enough to buy our politicians to say that's an infringement on your rights as a
Yeah, exactly.
mark.
But I think right now in Congress, it's the last thing on their mind. It's regulating art. Most of them don't even know what art
Yes.
is.
I think we can use that to our advantage, actually, because it's not on their mind. I think a
Yeah.
couple of clever senators or members of the House could slip in something to a larger bill. Say, oh, by the way, all AI needs to be labeled as such.
Yeah, protect the artists that are not using AI. Cool.
Yeah, and the artists who are getting their work stolen from AI.
But what's the
Ooh,
line? Remember we talked about that, and basically everything in AI is building upon everything that's ever been built upon. It's
yeah.
drawing from an encyclopedia of graphics, images, and all. So where's the line? That's going to take a team
I
of
have a
Harvard
hot
trained
take.
lawyers. Yes.
Ooh.
All right. AI is actually communist. Check it out. So what are they doing? They're prowling through the net, right? They're stealing, expropriating every single asset that's ever existed. Every movie, guess what? AI's got it. Every video game, AI's got it. Every news article, AI's got it. All of the letter hacks cartoons,
Yeah.
AI's got it. So really what's happening is it's so capitalist that it's like a fucking reverse underflow kind of thing, and it becomes communist.
See, this is why I
Okay.
lean towards socialism. I think the artists should own the means of production. The producers should own the means of production.
Yeah,
There you
fuck the
go.
artists, man. What have they ever done?
How do you organize things in space?
How do you
Oh,
organize?
yeah,
I've
yeah,
thought
yeah.
about
Where'd
this
that come from?
extensively.
You got to
All
Not
right.
dorky enough to have an answer ready to go, but
In
please,
space.
planet.
you mother. That was actually my answer, my serious answer. You put it around the sources of gravity, but I forgot you have a book with dad jokes, and that was nonsense.
This fucking guy.
My wife got me that. She said, "Here, read
Oh.
these on your show," and I said, "I will."
Yeah, it's
That's probably
perfect.
going to be a gift that goes for many, many miles.
Could do a whole dad joke episode, and we all have to come with dad jokes, and I'll come with bad mom jokes.
I love it. I love it.
A
I'm
But
bad
in.
some with
joke
I'm in.
regular
episode.
jokes.
But if AI could do the production, see right now AI can just do digital art.
Okay.
How do you color separate it? Now you need another AI that can do the production side of it, and then you need a robot that can pull the squeegee at the screen printer or do the
Yeah.
embroidery machine. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my
So
God.
there are limitations, and so I think that's why people are like, "Ooh, it makes art. Oh, it can write your book." You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's like that's why they go straight for that stuff, the fun stuff, because it's quick and easy, but it sort of bottoms out.
Yeah, and I always will put forward the President's Play series as a example of like what its value could be to the common person. It's just a script generator. That's all it is. The President's Play series. It's Trump, Obama, uh, Clinton, whoever, Joe Biden, yada yada, and they're playing various games, and they sound like a bunch of 14-year-olds bickering over the internet, but it's in their voices. But it's the whole gimmick is based around it being AI generated, and when you have things like that, there's like easily 24 accounts that I'm aware of that make
Mhm.
this genre of video that sprang up over this year. And yet, amongst them, there are some which are known to be the best because the people who run the AI are acting as producers, and that's
Oh.
their art is the production of it. They cut out the stuff that's nonsensical. They do storylines. They give commands to
So they're
the AI.
AI editors,
Exactly. So
basically.
the actual
So
art, the AI is
there's
just a
some
tool.
oversight
Yes. So,
in
but
certain companies that use AI.
Well, this isn't companies. This is just people at home
people at home.
making stuff. But therein lies the problem. We need the protections, I think, first, and then we can have fun. And we've started having fun before putting in the protections because the
I'm not having
companies
fun.
won't
Yeah,
clearly label
I
it.
haven't used it.
I haven't had fun in years.
Oh, Andrea, that sounds like a personal problem. She has fun with Max.
That's true.
And you have a dog too, Matt, don't you? You have one or two?
Yeah, I have one
One doggy.
Hi, Max.
at the
And
moment.
Jake
We're
has
talking about
his
you.
family dogs by osmosis.
Oh, I've got
Oh,
my
you've
own
got your
dog,
own? Okay.
but I'm also taking care of a couple of other hounds these days
Oh,
because they're very good and they do need a little help. But me Benny lad, he's a Jack Russell Terrier.
cool. I mean,
Also
everybody can. So what happens when AI gets a hold of our pets?
Nobody
happens-
look. Anybody coming for my pet has a big problem. Okay.
Hell
we
yeah!
can
I don't know
That's the
what
one
you
thing we
mean
all agree
about
on.
AI coming for our pets.
I mean,
but anyone
are we
coming for
going to
my
have
pet?
AI generated pets when well,
Okay, I
looks
see
like
what
they
you're
have
saying. I see what
the
you're saying.
machines that create stuff. We have
Max,
AI
you're gonna get
generated.
replaced by
I
a
get so
robot.
hostile. I'm feeling hostile tonight.
Oh boy.
Max, they're gonna replace you. What the hell?
I think the GOP debates in general make me very upset. It's such.
They did this time for
Garbage.
me. for
That's
some
why I
reason.
don't watch them. Yeah, I'm protesting.
I didn't even watch it. Just knowing it's happening, it's like, oh god, why is it taking the energy out of everything? You know what I mean?
No, I didn't know it was happening until like 21 minutes and 46 seconds ago.
Yeah.
It's more of the same, but I think it's useful in terms of viewing the different flavors of Sinister Sons of Bees.
Sinister
Yeah.
flavors.
It's just really sad.
I
Because
don't want. Oh, go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, like, it's a done deal for one. So I don't know where the money comes from, but it could be better spent. I guarantee it. And two, these guys are just vying for whoever's going to be the next news pundit or get a show on
Yes.
Fox News or one of these other horrible outlets. You know, that's all. I mean, what else could they? It's like, think about this.
It's true.
Hey, if you don't become president of the United States,
Right.
you'll at least be able to make money as a cable news host. Those things should be so far apart. It should be like if you're not president of the United States, you will definitely be in the cabinet or you know what I mean? Like you should be so respected. But no, anybody can get up on stage and anybody can it all matters. How much money did you raise? Oh, okay, you're allowed to be here. It's
Right.
It's also
garbage.
just like
It's
a
all
money
garbage.
laundering scam because like what they do is they
Mhm.
just deck out their
Yeah.
whole staff with all their best friends and then pay them all the campaign donations as a salary.
Wait,
So,
why aren't we doing this?
does that mean that
Yeah, why
if you
not?
are a congressional member, you don't do your hiring with affirmative action searches, even though it's federal dollars that are paying for your staff? You just appoint people without that. So what's good for the government is not good for everybody else.
Yes.
Academia, everything had to be an affirmative action search when you for positions for the most qualified person. I'd love to see how the White House, every administration documents that. There
Well,
must
the
be
keyword is
caveats.
documents. I don't know.
Yeah.
If there's
Yeah.
Yeah,
much
right.
of
Yes.
that.
Documents. So, but that's interesting. I never thought of that when you were
We
talking
got
about that,
depressed
Andrea.
Matt over there. Is everything
I'm
all right?
reading the chat. I'm reading like all of our chats at once too.
So like
I
when
know
you
he
read
is.
the
Wow.
chat,
Those
you're
small
just going
tasks.
like, "Oh God."
How's everybody doing on mine? I see Giant Curve is pretty talkative tonight.
Everybody else.
Yeah,
Yeah, I also
I'm
want to know how's everybody doing on
loving it.
Sandy's?
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
I'm saying shout
That's
out to
not the
Letterhack
face I
chat.
made. That is not the face.
I'm
I was
improvising.
looking like, everyone
No,
can
you were
rewind it.
definitely like
and-
this. You were like,
Oh.
I
All right,
can't do it.
here's a
She's
question.
good at busted chops,
How many
man.
chats, how many people out of all of our chats watched that debate? I could tell you on mine, probably what, 2, maybe, if that. I don't know.
I had like
19.
30 of these people over at my channel.
So they were not watching the debate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good though.
Jake, you did cover the debate.
Yeah,
And that's your
19.
thing. That's your
I
niche.
did. It is, and I wouldn't be. I mean, there could be nobody there with me, and I would be significantly sadder. But I'd still be like, and the
Doing
thing
it.
about this app,
That's okay. Nothing
just-
wrong with that. No.
I love them. I don't want to put y'all in an awkward position. So let me be clear. It's fine if the answer is, no thanks. But
Right.
do you want to talk about the thing that I was chatting? Andrea and I were talking about a little bit.
Oh, I
in
sure
the
do want to
Discord.
listen. Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
listen to
Okay.
this. So
Go
ahead.
for it, because I really had a little difficulty keeping up.
Well,
so I thought,
I will.
let me
I
hear
will
you.
stipulate that there is value
Mhm.
in a surprise.
All right.
Well, I feel like it could be advertising as well, and also we could get like a what do you call it? See if there's any interest, or if people would, F it. I don't have the ability to keep a secret, so my vote is for yay. Let's just do a quick thing. Yay,
I'm neutral. I
neutral.
abstain.
What are we voting on?
Are we going to talk about this thing for a few minutes?
Sure.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
articulate what it is, the name
Look,
of it.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
This-
say what my original name was, though.
No, not that.
But
This-
I am.
This level of transparency, I think, could be interesting. It's like,
Yeah.
Right.
how do people spitball these ideas? Where do they come from? You just show up on screen one day and it's existing. So why not talk
Yeah.
about it a little? So go ahead.
So for context, I've had a plan similar to this from the get-go, but recently I was inspired to genuinely try this because I noticed I can't stop seeing Joe Rogan clips. I keep blocking the channels that host them, and I keep getting Joe Rogan clips.
And they're never good.
They're yes, that
Just
too.
an
They're-
aside, I'm like, this is
yeah.
bleh. Yeah.
So I think there's value in spreading content far and wide. To that end, I would like one day a week on my channel to start running a block of cartoons for 24 hours. So like Saturday at midnight until Sunday at midnight. So you can watch cartoons. And obviously, I'm going to be contributing my own,
Right.
and they are very progressive leaning. But the idea is that you get a little bit of progressive messaging in with general entertainment, and you put it out there. The payment structure, though, is what I think is most interesting. I think this is how you do a garage band, but with indie content creators. The payment
Alright.
structure is this: if you contributed content, your payment is that you have a right to stream the stream, just like we're doing now,
Mhm.
to your channel, which will allow you to take donations and generate ad revenue, etc.
So everybody else's work, you just share it.
Yeah. So there's this there's like this show on YouTube called The Roadkill Diner, and somebody just wanted to make like their own version of Family Guy, basically, or Futurama or whatever, and they
Mhm.
just started doing it, and it's very low budget, and you can tell, and they're very new, and you can tell, but it's charming and it's kind of good. It's pretty good content. So we would take like Roadkill Diner, make them this offer, and say like, if you let us stream your content, you can stream all of our content in this block. That's basically the whole plan,
Alright.
except for one thing. And this, Sandy, is where y'all might be interested. We could also just hand out links to people that don't contribute content, as just to say, hey, advertise us to your folks. Or we could hand out links to people who are solely acting as essentially moderators. So they're agreeing to host the content and dedicate a computer for a full day, and their payment is that they can get donations and run ads. That's the idea. What do you think?
I don't know.
You always got something cooking.
What would
Yes.
we have on our channel? 24 hours of the Environmental Coffee House. planetary horror show. I don't
Ooh.
know.
I have a 4.5 hour clip compilation.
Yeah, that was great that you
Yes.
did on Thanksgiving Day. Yeah.
Am I a wimp
The
because I
glasses
kind of
one.
want to see it happen and watch people like go through trial and error?
No, that's not that makes total. Yeah, that
Isn't
makes
that
total
how we
sense.
learn? Oh, you all got glass.
We're
Did
all
you leave
we're
me out
Schumering.
with the glass? Wait.
Grab some glasses. Schumer
I'm
with
sorry,
us.
it's not my
Okay.
fault you have good eyes. Oh, there we go.
Oh wait, those are the ones that are no. Oh no,
I
these
thought
are
we
the
were
zeros.
Schumering.
Okay,
I will
wait.
contribute a
Okay.
cartoon to this.
Please vote
Stop
for.
motion
Yes.
cartoon.
I'll have a dirty Debbie.
How do you do a stop motion cartoon?
I'll figure it out.
Hmm.
Heck yes. If any of you guys on like a side note, if any of you guys ever
Yeah.
feel like voicing things, let me know
I will
because
voice anything you want for
Voicing
free.
things.
Just give it to me.
In other
Yes.
words, ranting, like
Yeah.
Matt wanted to do. No.
I never want to, but I will. I think it's a good idea. I'm bad at analyzing it in real time because it's an idea I haven't it's over my head because it's not your fault. It's not the concept
Right.
overly elaborate. It's that it's over my head because it's like this is new territory for me.
There's
You know what I
definitely
mean?
two things here. There's number one, mixing in progressive content with just general entertainment. The more I think the more interesting to this group would be, despite the professional drawer of things being here, but would just be the payment structure, which is nothing but what like literally what we're doing, but in the form of pre-made content. Again,
Yeah,
it's
guys, it's super chat
worth
night.
seeing. Yeah,
Sounds like
No,
it's
but
it's
seriously,
more
can I
pay.
ask a
probably wise
question?
to see how it works first. Yeah.
So we'd all create 24 hours of
Oh no.
content. So how
No.
does I mean it's a loop. So you create
Yes.
a certain and it's just loop, 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 loop. But
The
it's still gonna be
idea
24. Yeah.
the idea is you jump in and in theory you could sit there for 6 hours and never see
Yeah.
the same thing twice. Who needs more than 6 hours? And then by the time
Yeah.
hour 7 rolls around, you're like, it's been 6 hours. I could watch this
Man,
again.
I probably,
Yeah.
I probably should get up out of bed here. It's like fucking 7 o'clock, and
The New
oh, I
Year's
love that
Day.
one. Oh man,
The-
and then they're in
yeah.
forever.
Just devil's advocate, is it possible to oversaturate the market, so to speak? Can
Yeah, but
too
what
much of
market?
a good thing or, you know?
So here are
No?
my thoughts generally. One is for it to be interesting, you'd have to keep
Yeah.
strangers in the loop. You'd have to be constantly reaching out to new people so that you might come across something new all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Side note, Sandy, I really want to clarify.
Mhm.
Like, let's say it was a 24-hour block. It's not that I would make 24 hours of
Right.
content and then a
Right.
bunch of other. It's that each of us would make a small amount of content. And together, however much we were able to accumulate, that's what we would loop over and over. So if it was a 4-hour block, like we would each do 1 hour, and then that would play on all of our channels. To the question of can you oversaturate, basically, I think the answer is no, because if it's regularly scheduled, people will just ignore it on the days that they don't care to watch it.
Huh.
But I point to Adult Swim as the proof of concept. They already had a popular product, admittedly,
Does-
but they're constantly streaming their top shows 24 hours a day, and it's only 3 or 4 episodes. So with Aqua Teen Hunger Force, they're not even looping an hour's worth of content. It's about 45 minutes worth of content that they have been looping the same 3 episodes, or 4, I think it
Okay.
is, for literally months now.
Well, of course, I had never heard of any of those entities until I read your chat. So I went and looked and saw, okay, you're looking at something that's different and creative and extrapolating some good ideas.
If it's I'll share the numbers with you guys because I do think you should make savvy business decisions for my own good as well as yours. I'll share the
Well,
numbers with you. If it does well, I'll let you know. If it does terribly, I'll let you know, so you can have a sense of if this is
so
worth
what kind
pursuing
of topics do you want to cover,
and
Andrea and
denying.
Jake?
Goofing around, having fun, largely, I think. Is that
No,
at least for the inaugural stream?
yeah, it's original content, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
the to me, I'm seeing this first version, the one that I'm not going to say the full name, but the 24-hour block show, whatever we end up
Yeah.
calling it. Um,
Huh.
I think it's the through line is just going to be indie cartoon creators. So I'll try to go as like spectacular as Team Four
Oh.
Star, and they'll politely say no. But then I'll do like just work my way down and try to get people who are independent cartoonists just to sign up for this thing and see if they like it.
I think you could do that, but just real quick, people are sending in super chats. Thank you very much. We read
Oh,
all
that's good.
those super
That's sweet.
stickers and super chats. We'll read all those at the end at once. Your comments may randomly show up on screens, sort of my discretion if I think they're interesting or goofy or whatever. So please keep commenting. Super chats at the end, just so you know, we aren't ignoring the super chats. Jake, I have a lot of questions coming to mind that I don't know, it's maybe too detailed and behind the scenes, like how YouTube
Hit
works.
me with
Well, but so maybe it's like we should, like, I'll talk to you about it off air, but
fair enough.
because there are times where people have like shown their YouTube studio on air and they immediately get a strike from YouTube. Did you know that? So I'm always wary of like talking about like the behind the scenes stuff. Like I don't want them to.
Weird.
That's very
Yeah,
weird. That's what live streaming pros, Luria's channel does. That's what
I
she does.
think there are some things that are off limits, like the amount of like when you show your amount, like the what's the word, the criteria you need to get up to monetizing,
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they get really
Not
bitchy
criteria, but
about like I think YouTube used to just outright like ban you from being monetized if you shared any data, but I think they laxed a little bit on some of the data.
A
But
wise
it's
move.
just a classic like don't tell your coworker your salary kind of game, but just in a
Yeah.
different
Oh, I
field.
see. Don't share
So I want to
what you do.
talk
you
to you
get.
about this, but also be looking at like all the behind the scenes stuff like that they offer
Sure.
you for these are when your viewers are online and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the things.
I never used
I
to look at any of that.
basically everything that we're doing, particularly on YouTube, whose monitoring system I really like. That's all of this stuff to me is also an opportunity to do audience research, and it's not as interesting as like, oh,
Okay,
who
guys.
from this state or that state is watching, but it's like, how long do people watch live streams for generally? What kind of
10 minutes.
content do they watch? Yeah. What is the most,
About
in
6.5
YouTube's
seconds.
opinion, what's the most valuable type of viewer? Not that it's necessarily our opinion, but it's just interesting to know, even if you don't do anything with the info.
I looked at I know our demographics. Anything over like 60 to death.
Good.
No,
People
I'm
who have
kidding.
lived.
I need the boom boom. I love our demographics. I love our followers. From all
I
over.
was worried that at least the demographics on my channel are mainly the people I thought I would have the hardest time reaching. That threw me for a loop.
What I pay attention to is live or video upload. And what I found is I get the most new views from video uploads, and then I see the percentage of returning views when I'm live. So I hook them
Same.
with the videos, but I got to do the live first and then make a video of the live. And then it's just like, keep doing what you're doing, I guess.
Shorts for me were a great way to build the audience very quickly, full of people that never came back to the channel. I had to stop doing shorts because it was doing the opposite of what I wanted. Set me back pretty bad.
I never
actually.
had, anytime I did a short, it was only because it was an impulsive thing and I never had a strategy. I've never had really a big strategy other than to teach, bring people in
Probably the
and
best
have
one.
community. Yeah, well, I wasn't monetized for 7 years, but it is
Oh, well.
different. It is fun to, use these little tools and play the game. I mean, I've jumped
Yeah.
in. It is. Everybody else is, so I'm trying it.
You've been
I'm mostly
corrupted.
just
I've been corrupted
trying to
Sell
park
out.
in the lines.
several times, like the cat has 9 lives.
Still though, Jake, great idea, man. You're always thinking about stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah,
What
you
I
are.
like my
Flesh it
biggest
out. Flesh it out.
my biggest concern with the era we're in of our YouTube careers, if you are to call them that, is that we're at a place where it makes sense to start working with people, but we don't have the budgets to pay people. So this is my attempt to answer the question: how do you fairly compensate people? And just
With
say, like,
coffee
look,
cups on our channel.
we all have our
Uh.
open for business sign. You can just hang it out. We all get the same opportunity off this.
You want to hear something interesting?
Yeah.
Such a coincidence. On this week last year, my birthday week, I was doing a subscriber drive. I was trying to get to 200 subs, right?
Oh,
Like I thought
baby.
I need to get to 200, right?
Fantastic.
And today I hit 2,200. I think I'm at
Oh, that's
2,203
great.
right now.
Congratulations.
But on this day last year, I hit 200. Isn't that weird?
That's
Because it
great.
was right in the middle on Wednesday. I hit 200, and I was like, "Oh, we did
That's
it!" And
good.
the week's not over. And it was so. I was like, "Come on,
If you keep your
such a
consistency,
number."
you keep making the same product more or less, and the same schedule. It's not unreasonable that you would maintain the same growth rate, not growth, but growth rate, which would mean next year you'd be at 22,000. Them's my
Growth is
hopes
a
for
bad
you.
word on our channel.
Nah, it's not gonna happen. I might hit
You don't think so?
3,000 next year. I don't know.
Let's
Should we start a bet? Like, when
Yes,
is
thank you.
Letterhack
Bet,
going to
that's
get
the word.
more subscribers than me? That's what I want to
Wait a
know.
minute.
'Cause I'm
What
thinking
are
like
you?
6 months.
What are you at? You're over
11,000?
10. Yeah.
11,000 subscribers?
There's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not.
there
Oh,
is.
wait.
She's
What? All right. All right.
popular.
Let's take bets.
Please, I
Let's
used to
make
use
this
YouTube as a
interesting.
dumping ground for my Facebook Live interviews, and then I would just put them on YouTube as an afterthought, and wasn't really putting. Yeah, really, seriously. But now I can't stand Facebook and Meta, and they put so much. I haven't even figured out how to make their live streams work right anymore. Nobody wants to share them anymore.
Fuck Facebook.
There you go.
On the one hand, I want to do a side bet, an unrelated bet, or
All right, do
semi-related.
one.
Let me start with
One.
this, Matt. What are you willing to bet this time next year? We meet up again. I think you're over 22,000. What do we bet here?
You think
I
I'm
have
going
a
to be
suggestion.
over 22,000 subs
Yeah.
by this time next year, on this day next year?
That's
Yeah,
a lot.
I think
but
so.
He could. Yeah, he's marketing and doing well.
I'm
think-
buying low. I'm trying to coast off of future Letterhack's like fame and popularity here. So
I don't know. Are we talking like
And your interviews are good.
cash?
I think, like, let's rely on our YouTube talents. If you're or our streaming talents, if you're like, how about this? If I'm correct, you have to draw a picture of me and anybody else who's joins. Me and anybody
She
else who
prints
takes
it.
this bet, looking like ripped and awesome, and you're saying in the cartoon like how right we are about things.
So, okay. So
22 million subs, Emerald View says. You're
So
gonna have
if-
22 million.
if you win and I am successful, I have to draw. But
Yes.
what do I get if I win and I'm not successful.
The
So I'm really
that-
gonna need something.
the same from me. You get a much lower quality drawing
I thought I
with
saw a
way
cat
less effort put in.
on the-
Cash.
Throw $10 in.
Cash.
If
What
by
have I
next
got?
year we have cash.
All right, $11.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'll make you a $50 bet,
Gold
but
doubloons.
if I'm not
$12?
successful, I gotta cough up $50 times 3. That doesn't make sense to me. I get to relish in the fact that I
Well,
won the
50
bet.
bucks
but-
divided by 3.
See,
But-
one thing about I want to ask you
Oh, that's
guys
okay. I can do that.
question. Do you notice when, because you're a small channel, do you ever notice when you look at those numbers, they go up by 2 and go down by
Oh,
1,
I hate
and
it
they
so
go up by
much.
3? And I'm
Breaks your
thinking,
heart.
well, why are who are these people that
They're
are
bots and
unsubscribing? They're
Bots and burner accounts. They
Even
gotta
when you
be.
have
yeah.
tiny little numbers like I do, 30.
Those are
whatever.
people that every time you upload a video, they think, I haven't unsubscribed from this goddamn awful channel. I've been meaning
Right.
to. Now's
Yeah,
the
they go
fucking
through their
time.
list
I
and
can't
unsubscribe.
stand this anymore. That's what they're thinking. They're thinking, fuck this bitch. I've been here for so long.
Right.
I
Oh,
put
yeah.
up with so much shit. Can't take
Or
it
they're like,
anymore.
"Oh, am I still subscribed to this thing? I never meant to do that." Or
Well,
they're like,
I've
"I don't really
done
listen
that.
to politics anymore."
I have done it before, gone through, and,
Yeah.
and there are channels I never watch, but I just thought it was funny how it goes up and down like that. I mean, when you're
heartbreaking.
small. Now, when you're a humongous channel, do you even think they look? Because what are you going to do? Look at, okay, we
Yes.
have 2 million followers.
They absolutely look.
Uh-oh, 1,900,000.
Not in the same way.
Oh, they look. Oh man, they got
But they
live
do look. They
updates.
look at the
They have
unsubscribe
like an
list.
app that's like every unsubscriber that they have. They go like,
Yeah.
oh god, oh no, like
Oh,
they
no.
cry themselves to sleep. At least that's what I hope. That's my idea.
Oh,
Oh, this
I don't
have a-
know. I don't.
conversations we have.
Yeah.
somewhat
It's just that
related.
most people
bet
in the
then.
chats don't think like we're talking like creators, like we're having this conversation, and most people in chat then don't think like that. So it's pretty interesting because I used to not think as a creator, just I did what I wanted, and I still do. But now I guess I'm just more cognizant of, well, the background, which I never used to
Yeah.
look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try not to get too obsessive about
Right.
that. I want to focus on because YouTube is always like, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. I'm like, you
Oh, they
should be
send you
minding
those
your own
things?
business. But
You know what? Can we talk about while we're talking about this shit?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
YouTube, when you go on like the dashboard, right? There's a lot of pop-ups that say like, you should try this, you should try that. You
Yeah.
know,
Egg.
second person.
yeah,
But then there's like there's like 1 or 2 of them that says like, like comments I haven't responded to yet. I don't want to read that on a website.
Oh, that's
know?
that's held up. You look at your held for
But it's
held
written in
comments and
first person. I didn't write that. Why is
comments
YouTube
I
writing
have-
in first
That does
person
annoy
for
me.
me?
Yeah,
Weird.
I
Right.
know exactly what you mean.
like
yeah.
guilt.
comments
It's
I haven't
fucked.
responded to, right?
It's fucked.
I do think.
How am I
like,
feeling tonight? Yeah.
I
Well,
I
you don't have
started,
time to do it all the time. Everybody knows.
but like I started this channel. I think each one of us started a YouTube channel to do exactly what we're doing, and
Yeah.
YouTube is like, don't you want to be like all the other creators? And I'm like, YouTube,
No.
why are you trying to homogenize the entire thing here? It makes no sense. Don't you want diversity? Shouldn't we all be doing different stuff? And isn't
Yeah,
that the appeal? I don't. It's
I think
weird
you
to me.
just put it exactly correct. Like it's all under the assumption that we're trying to be who's the most recent obnoxious streamer, some Swedish kid somewhere, and there actually are folks like Sandy who's got like, I have an agenda. I'm trying to get things done. YouTube is a means of doing that, but it's not the end. It's simply a thing. It's crazy idea, but it's being used as a video hosting platform. That's its purpose.
And I think we have 9 followers on Twitch. Or maybe
Hey!
10.
I am going to start streaming to Twitch though.
I haven't figured that one. I don't have the time.
I
If you
just wanna
learn, teach
understand it.
me.
I will. First thing I
Andrea,
learn, though.
were we gonna stream a video game on Twitch, or we're gonna do that on YouTube, right?
Or both. I don't know.
Oh, okay. It would be my first go on Twitch, but whatever.
Yeah, I
I've
mean, we
been
can do
meaning
it
to
on.
try it.
Like my question is, are we going to replace this show one week or just do like a double
Separate.
feature?
Yeah, separate.
You mean
Cl-
with Jake's idea, implementing
No,
the
Andrea and I are
oh.
gonna do a Clueless Gamer,
Oh,
that's gonna be
Clueless.
good.
That's a great name.
where
That's
I'm
really
the I stole that from Conan O'Brien, so we should probably come up with something else. But it's I don't know what I'm doing, but it's Andrea's game.
okay. That'll be
Yeah.
It's
interesting.
gonna be good.
Check it out.
Andrea,
Yes,
you're
everybody.
so
I have
I have so
artistic.
many questions.
I have released A War on Christmas Part 2. This is a sequel. There's 2 games. This is the second
Wait.
one.
Is this from like Nexus mods? Where did
And this
did
is
you
me.
do this?
I did
Wow.
this, yeah.
Well,
So you modded the game.
Oh yeah. Big time.
you
Oh my
modded the
gosh,
game,
man.
but you didn't draw the game. The War on Christmas.
That's
don't-
amazing.
I don't know how to answer that question.
I don't even know what I'm asking, so don't worry about
Sandy, you and I are in the same boat. What you can do is what you can do is you can customize the game.
it. Okay.
So if you know how and you're good at it, right? So it's like you can customize your car, but if you don't know what you're doing and you're not good at it, don't do it. And I think in this
Alright.
case, Andrea has figured this out and she's been doing it long enough that like it's worth, it's people should take note.
I
Well,
love
look at the
this concept.
graphics on the bottom
I
on
agree. Everyone should take note of
the
my
dead
achievements.
tree.
So what happens
Yeah.
is Santa has gone rogue and been killing innocents. And so
Asterisk.
it's up to
Ah,
me. It's the player's point of view, so it's up to the me in this situation, whether that's literally me or somebody else,
it's like Elon Musk talking about live streaming.
to go to the North Pole and just end it. It's like I already got the okay from Andrea. She
Gotcha.
said if it looks like a candy cane, destroy it. If it looks like an elf, obliterate.
Kill all those fuckers.
And I was like,
Jingle
I
bells.
feel like I could probably do well at this game, especially on the right day. But
Yeah, I mean, we can do it in the morning. We can do it in the evening, afternoon. I mean, whatever.
Watch it whenever it's or do it whenever it's appropriate
it's
for
the
me to
kinda
be drunk on
thing-
eggnog.
But
how
then
long?
it's the kind of thing you could watch, but do
'Cause I will.
other you can multitask while watching because the graphics are cool.
Yeah. It's. I mean, okay. In all likelihood, the most entertaining aspect of this, besides the graphics and the game itself, is me being terrible at it.
Yeah.
Right. And
All right, I'm
whining a
in.
lot and saying, "Why
I'm
isn't it
in.
working?" I press that button. So, I mean, it's how long you want to pay attention to that. But
Okay.
Andrea, how long do you think it go? Like, how long is your game meant to be played, especially by an amateur? Like,
Well,
how
I
long
don't
would it
know
take?
about amateurs, but I 100%ed it in 40 minutes this morning. So we could
It would
probably
take you a long time, man.
Yeah.
maybe 2 hours.
She's a speed runner. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, you're counting on me finishing it?
Yeah.
And okay, what equals finishing it? Killing everyone that's not me?
Well, you don't have to get 100%. If some parts too difficult, you can just run past them.
The only way out is through.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The goal of Doom is to reach the end of the level. So you got to get to a certain spot on the map that's provided for you.
So
And
there's
the obstacles shoot at you.
opposition. Is there anything I can do leading up to playing, like training wise?
You could play the original Doom
this
with a mouse
maybe?
and keyboard.
No, I mean, like, should I stretch, warm up?
Oh,
What
you
should I
could
eat the night
stretch.
before? Carbs?
No,
You got to
carbs,
work out your
absolutely.
thumbs by
What
getting
would
some
you need a
suspenders
carb
and
load?
just doing.
I would recommend a 2-day fast, nothing but black coffee and lemon. Put your lemon in the coffee, and then play the game. That would be my
So
recommendation.
Is this why society is totally fucked up?
That's why it's
No.
gonna be.
Yeah.
And if by society
Oh.
you mean the North Pole, yes,
Yes.
it's gonna be totally fucked up.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll in
It
there.
already is, by the way. I mean, I can
It-
quote you statistics on the Arctic ice melt if you'd like.
Mm.
Oh, it's gonna melt because there's gonna be so much firepower and the carbon emissions are gonna be off the charts.
Oh,
But
the
like,
carbon. I don't even want to think about the carbon.
so do I have one gun? How many
Oh
bullets?
my god.
There are a total of 7 guns,
Cool.
including a chainsaw.
And that's like
Weapon.
if I run out
And
of
you play with
bullets,
the keyboard.
they pick
Yes,
up
you
the
can. And a mouse.
chainsaw.
And the chainsaw is
Made-
unlimited ammo, so you can use it as long as you want. That's the weapon of desperation. So
It
All
can't
right.
deflect bullets. Though, right?
It's also the weapon of being rad.
that is true. I have a whole level designed around the chainsaw. It's called
Oh.
Saturday's Santa Slasher Sequence. That's the secret weapon.
Yes. This
The
is
last
gonna be so
time-
much fun.
Ah,
The last time I played Doom was the original Doom. And I remember when you run out of bullets, he takes out a knife. And it's like, it's over.
That's Wolfenstein.
Well, okay, Wolfenstein. That was the. Oh, yeah, we talked about this. So,
you play Doom. I live Doom every day.
so when. So, am I in God mode?
We'll only
no
do God
challenge
mode if
there.
you need it.
It'd be fun.
There is an easy mode. I did design the easy mode with you in mind. So we'll give it a rest unless you get really stuck.
So this is the pre-Christmas show.
Okay,
So it
what
has
if
to be on a very important day.
what if we're playing the game, we're having fun, I'm actually doing well, and then I hit 22,000 subscribers? Can I stop and address that?
The
No,
game.
no, you're just gonna have to keep going. You're just gonna have to pull through.
Oh, that's so
Just be like,
funny.
sorry, everyone. I'm not gonna ever do this again. No, well then it would be like, okay, now I have to play this game or games more often.
We
Well,
gotta
there
come up
is
with
a
that.
War on Christmas Part 1 from last year as well. So,
Prequel.
yep. Well, it's not a prequel.
It would be.
For you, it would be. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
nonlinear storytelling. Memento.
Okay.
You ever see it?
Well,
I got something.
this is coming
If
up
you
in a
don't have,
week
oh,
or
sorry, go
so.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
It just occurred to me, if you don't have 22,000 subscribers by next year this
Yeah,
time,
I owe people. That doesn't.
no,
That's not right.
I will send you this remote. It's of no convenience to you, but it turns on the monitor I use for my computer. It would be massively inconvenient to me.
Oh.
It's a weapon of
Well,
mass destruction. When
so-
you think about it.
Now it's up to you
I
to.
don't know.
to-
I'm like, I gotta sit back.
I
You
got to
have to
raise
do-
your subscribers.
Yeah, you got to devote some of your free time to
Oh God.
to me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. There you go.
And you already do. So thanks. But
Yeah.
All right.
I'm looking forward to playing this game. We got to figure it out. But
Oh,
this
we
is gonna
will.
be in the next couple of weeks, right?
I'm dedicated to making it work.
Let's
But
test
if
it.
anyone else wants to play it, how do I
What
do the
else is-
comments?
I'll
Can I post-
watch.
Can you post links?
I
Yeah.
do want to play it.
Put a
and I
link
think
in
I
the
have a
private
copy of Doom
chat.
that I can mod.
So Andrea, are
phone?
there any video games on the climate crisis and like
I'm sure there are. I could
dueling
probably make one.
outcomes? Make one.
I think I can. Now I have a question. There's on StreamYard. It says I can post a comment. Does that get sent to all the channels?
Do you want me to post
Oh.
that link that you just put up?
I mean, you can, yeah. But does that get sent to? I mean, I can too.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Does it
I'm
just
gonna
go
see.
in all of them?
Says
Red.
that. Oh yeah, it says. So if we write a comment, it'll go to everybody. I'll say hello, everyone. All right.
Yeah, so we got to try it on the difficult level. We got to like try it on all the levels because I just think it'd be really fun to like just get like 2 seconds into it. Like, okay, where should I shoot?
Well, it did go
Oh,
to
I'm dead.
everyone.
I think you could probably make it to
Maybe.
level 3. I
Maybe
think.
not.
I think you wouldn't make it to level 4. That's my
Now-
bet. So if you could make it to level 4 on the regular difficulty, I'll give you something.
What? What's my incentive? Something? You think I do things for
Yep.
something?
I got this red pen.
What? I think I have that exact same pen, by the
Well,
way.
have you had the red pen that I used to put in my hair on the Above It All show?
I mean, that is going to be in the Smithsonian one day.
Yeah.
It's going to
Well,
be in
that-
like a
the hair
glass
pen.
box.
Yeah,
So there you go.
Andrea's convenient way of finding her pens.
I'm so glad you made this, Andrea. Thank you.
Oh,
Do you know?
Amazing.
Do you guys know why octopi always win fights?
I don't know why.
Because they're so well armed.
I had a feeling. I really actually was going to blurt that out. Yikes. Yikes.
And with that, we are 22 seconds past the hour.
So what have we really accomplished? Who's going to do the list of accomplishments of the show?
I've accomplished a lot. I've made it 37 seconds past the hour. I think that's an accomplishment.
Oh, Andrea.
Oh, what? We were going to do a list of accomplishments?
Is
Like-
it
For the
what's
show
the-
tonight.
Oh, okay. I talked with my friends about a business idea, and got a video game that I'm gonna play.
Cool.
Oh, like what we accomplished on air tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, I avoided the debates.
Yeah, that was perfect. All right. Oh, she's
Andrea?
not gonna. Yeah, she's gonna mute herself. She's not gonna let us in.
She's
Can't hear
faking.
ya.
It's a joke.
Oh, she's busting my
This is her
chops. Damn it!
gag.
Every time.
Every
Um,
time she has to let something out.
do you want to know an accomplishment that I have achieved?
What?
Like just outside of this episode?
Yeah.
I've been coming by email addresses.
Oh,
And
good.
and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I'm not just DMing people on Twitter. You want to come on my show?
Right.
And so I'm just sitting on them for now.
You're very professional, though.
I'm
That's
not
the way
gonna
to do
just
it.
like start emailing people wildly, but every now and then I come across one and I'm like, oh. who
So
else
what you're
has this?
saying is
That's
you
what
have a
I-
documentation
Mhm.
file structure
It's all up here.
that in your head that
I delete it from the trash after I memorize it.
that's a great
The
idea.
email address.
However, it is an
Oh.
invasion of privacy. I'm
What?
sure these random people don't want your email to be tattooed.
No, they do. It's all
They
on the
do?
up and up. Yeah, it's all legit.
Right.
It's
But
all legit.
it's the
Yeah,
result of
Mr. President.
networking. It's behind the
Which you
scenes
are really good at.
networking.
Do you have my email?
Yeah. I've been done, had that.
Interesting.
Yeah, you gave it to me.
You have proof?
Yeah, I emailed you artwork.
My
This is
email's
like a
in the
while
name.
ago.
Yeah.
See,
I don't
this
know
is
about that.
when I want to be friends with somebody, I draw them. And then that's usually the in that I need.
That is a good in.
And so that has led to me being kind of, well, maybe I can do it to network as well. So it's been working.
I have to tell you, this freaking thing, I post everywhere I can. I love this drawing so much.
Aw, I don't have one. Not
What?
yet, anyway. No, because when we first came on, Antonio and I were together, and Matt was really intent on the interview and not focused for some reason on us. It would
Oh.
have been hard because he would have had to draw two people.
Well,
Both of us.
normally I've done that.
Yeah.
But when I do that, I'm just letting people talk and talk and talk and talk. But it was like a structured, it wasn't an interview, basically. I did give you guys a chance to talk about yourselves at the beginning, but then it was like I had a slideshow.
Yeah. It was a good talk. It was a good show.
I had all this stuff.
It was a
That's
good
the
show.
deep lore, is that he's also, when he's interviewing you, it's in the style you use. which is so much fun.
Uh-huh.
So, but you were doomed from the start, my friend. Yours are always
Yeah.
so involved.
We
with
all are,
having a good
babe.
time. It's true. That's true. These are the last
All right.
days of life in the universe because of capitalism.
That's
Let's
actually
make
just
the
because
best of
Jake
'em.
was missing last week. That's the real reason.
That's
But
true,
so was
and because
I.
of that
But you
dark
had
thing I did.
Antonio. Yeah,
We
you
did
had
have
Antonio.
Antonio. That's true.
That's right. And I did tune in for 3 minutes and saw the three of you, and then I had to tune out,
You said,
unfortunately.
"Oof, I can't watch a single
No,
second
I
more."
spent every
Yikes.
minute I was on my little trip with my mom. So
That's very sweet.
yeah, but I was her. I watched all the MSNBC shows.
Oh yeah, that's what happens.
I was a captive audience.
You're like, you watch this?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
cringe.
It's
Yeah,
heartbreaking.
we watched Rachel Maddow with Cheney, with Liz Cheney. She's talking about her new book. It wasn't bad. Actually, Rachel started out and she said before the interview, she said basically she disagrees 100%, maybe 98% with everything Liz Cheney stands for. So they went on, did the interview. It was actually not bad. It was just different. But Rachel actually qualified it. I don't agree with anything this woman says.
But here's some free advertising.
I think it's interesting what people. Okay, so I know a lot of people who watch cable news. Not all of them watch it for news. And it's like, oh, you're tuning in for the WWF style
Yeah, right.
scripted
Right.
KFAB garbage where they're supposed to say things. This is like your guilty pleasure. So where do you get the news?
She gets it from the Florida newspaper. She listens to local public radio. She's
I saw
pretty
some,
well-rounded,
and that's,
actually.
I saw some good local news recently. I was shocked.
South Carolina local news?
No, it was like a clip I saw on YouTube from a local news station talking critically about Donald Trump.
Oh,
And I was like, wow, I didn't even think they would bother talking about this kind of stuff.
locally. Yeah, I hear you.
It was what was it? They were saying like he's talking about undoing like the Constitution and acting like a dictator on day one. It was all stuff he talked about in that ridiculous Sean Hannity town hall last night.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was like, wow, okay. That's
So
what we
maybe
need.
some local news stations are getting hip to the fact that people do need to be educated, and maybe
Oh,
it's
I hope
not all
so.
about it.
Well,
Yeah,
just that
hope so.
they should be
They don't
talking
do it in
about things
Buffalo.
beyond things that
Surface.
well, local news it should cover local stuff for
course.
sure, but everyone needs to be aware. The spotlight needs to be on some of this stuff big time.
Yeah.
And think about, even with local news, there are people who have thoughts, opinions, and or see things a certain way. There should be voices. Not necessarily telling other people how to think, but just saying, well, we're in this community, this is how we think. That's what public radio does, at least here.
That's good. I'm
You're
glad.
welcome.
It's somewhere to start. Honestly, I'm glad to hear the local news talking about the insane stuff this guy said. My only skepticism is, did they mention that it was insane? Did they point out like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
you know what he just said? Do you understand what he just said?
yeah. What I saw was coming up on tonight's show. They give you the headline, and it was not cool. They were like it's anti-American.
Oh,
So
Good.
they're
Let
trying to
him
make
have
it
it.
sound cool. They're trying to make Donald Trump sound hip with that.
No.
Holy shit.
Not at all.
The well, depends.
That is what we need. We need people closer to regular folks, like people who are not famous outside of their town, to say things like that. I'm genuinely glad to hear that.
I literally had a local young 18-year-old say to me that, well, at least Donald Trump is not bought.
Yo, I mean, if anyone believes that, holy
Wow.
shit, man.
Yeah,
Wow, too far gone.
I did not know where to start, so I couldn't that day.
I did an interview with Luke Beasley recently. You know
Yeah,
who he is?
yeah, I watched him.
Yes.
He's good.
It's pre-taped. I haven't premiered it yet, but I asked him because anytime I get a progressive that lives in a red state, I ask him, do you think that people's allegiance to certain political ideologies
Yeah.
is the same as a faith-based belief system?
Hmm.
Like maybe it's they're just used to treating things like a religion or being religious about something, but my thought is, and I'm not going to reveal the rest of my conversation with him specifically. I guess I'll throw this out to you guys, but my thing is I was taught that this is the good and this is the evil. Every step away from good is a step toward evil. So no
It's a
matter
slippery
what
slope.
so no matter what good is, if it's redefined or how it's defined at all, you got to stay there because if you move away from it, there's only one direction and that's evil. And so that's why they're always making it like the left is trying to undo everything. What do you mean like ban books? No, like well, not let you have pronouns, not let you marry the person you want to marry, not let you do what you want to do with your life literally at all. So,
Take away all the rights we've gained over the last 40 years. Yeah.
yeah, I think
That's what the
intriguing.
left wants to do.
Yeah, that's the gaslighting version.
I
Yeah.
definitely think there's a strain of that happening. I think in terms of treating politics in the same way as religion, and it comes down to criticism. If you are able to critique your own views, then you are not. If you are not able to critique your own views, then you are treating it like a religion in many ways. But in terms of what you're saying with, are you drifting away by, essentially making it binary? If you're not going
right.
towards this, are you
That's what I
going
was going to say.
towards that?
It's black and
And
white for them. Yeah, it's one
yeah,
or the
it
other.
ought not
And
to
that
be.
it
Exactly.
can't be. Yeah, it's and now you're talking about like what are you trying to make the guy are you really trying to nominate and elect somebody to be the king?
Yeah.
Because what you
Yeah, exactly.
because I got news for you. After you do that once, there's not going to be any more nominating or electing going on, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get to kneel to Trump Jr., followed by let's be honest, skipping a couple and then Barron. Yeah.
I'd vote for Barron.
Barron. He's 6'8". He's doing all right. Yeah. The guy
He's the son of a Slovenian basketball player. I will die on that hill.
But the way he talked about his son was so detached. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he can't talk about anybody without. He
No.
only talks about himself, and that
I
doesn't
mean,
even
dare
sound
I
normal.
bring up the fact that he said on live television that he would fuck his daughter? Like, is that
How
do I
did we
need
not
to?
get? How is that not the end of his political career?
I mean,
How did it ever even start?
Like,
a
imagine if
long
Joe
list,
Biden
yeah.
was just like, "You've seen Hunter's photos, like like."
Thank you. It's no different. It's like if I wasn't his dad, I'd be dating him. Like what? I was gonna say
Right.
sex, but she's
We
my
live in
daughter. Like,
yeah,
dude,
we
what?
live in bizarro world.
You know what freaks me out is every other day you hear somebody was on Epstein's plane, which means they were on Epstein's island. And, like I keep hearing new names, and sometimes I'm
Shout out to
like,
Noam Chomsky, one
yeah,
of
sometimes I'm
Epstein's
like,
favorite associates.
I mean, occasionally, I'm like, okay, makes sense, and other times like that, I'm like, God,
The
how
worst
can
part to me
anybody
was that
ever
Noam
take him
Chomsky
serious
like
again?
got really pissed off when he was asked about it. He's like, "Ugh, I mean, this is a private relationship, you don't like my
A private
come on."
relationship.
Like you have to come up with a better excuse. Like that
Like,
one
what's
was the one.
can you fathom what he must be thinking? Like, that's so, I can't believe. Just take, you can tell it's bullshit if you were to exaggerate their point and it would no longer fit in reality. Like, how dare they ask me about that? Yeah, how dare they ask you? Why on earth would they be asking you, Noam Chomsky, about what you were doing on that plane of the well-known pedophile? Why ever would they ask you that? I do wonder.
It's so
A
offensive.
What
I
could
can't do
globally
it.
globally famous
a person
pedophile.
well known
Like,
for
yeah.
blackmailing people by first getting them to engage in diddling? Why, Noam Chomsky, are they bothering you about this? I wonder.
And we're not and the man who questions everything and wants us to question everything can't be questioned on that.
Obviously, that he meant everything except what I was doing on that plane with that well-known diddler. Everything except for that.
Yeah, now it's
Ghislaine.
RFK Jr.
Was
Weren't
he
we
on there?
Does
supposed
not
to get
surprise
some?
me
Yeah.
even a little.
Weren't we supposed to get some book dump or some name dump from Ghislaine in prison? Or is she afraid that she'll end up abstained?
Yes. Second thing. Yes.
Yeah.
There
100%.
are, I mean, if these people were, think about it. Think about how obvious it would be if that happened again.
Emerald
Like-
View. Let's not act like Republicans here.
So my thing is,
Yes. What is your thing?
just about like the allegiance to okay, so I think politics is I'll always think of it as very cheap, and it's looked at as this great institution, and if you're a part of it, it's so meaningful. And I mean, it's been going on for a long time. There's a deep history there. I get it. But like it's where people go to wheel and deal and make money they're all millionaires, right? They're all
Yeah.
banking. They're all like the insider training is off the wall. Their spouses are part of the military industrial complex or part of the privatization that's going on, and everyone's benefiting and all the palms are getting greased and the people aren't getting anything. And so for people to start to look up to them as if they are, deities, is that the right word? Or like as
It's
if
yeah.
they
No,
are
you're right.
behavior.
ordained in some way.
Yeah, they're just fucked up in the head. Like they
Is
have
so
stupid dumb fuck
backwards.
American syndrome.
It's so bad. It's walking on your hands. It doesn't
cult
make any
behavior.
sense at all.
It's hero.
Well, walking on your hands is at least pretty interesting, like you get to say, like, hey, look what I can do.
Until everyone's doing it. And then it's like, okay.
Really, I would love it if we
Yeah, but there's a-
genuinely would treat them like our employees. Like they're they're
that's-
an employee
yeah.
with several thousand bosses that are.
That's how I
constantly
treat
like,
police officers. Like, oh, come
Good.
on, Jack. Come on.
Good.
Jack. You know him by name.
Oh, yeah.
Jack.
What's up? No comment, chick. Yes, I think politics. I guess what I was trying to articulate there is that it shouldn't be, but it is. And that if somebody described politics to me, I would be like, oh, okay, cool. And if you describe government to me, I'd be like, I understand. I see. And then when you look at it, like anywhere, basically, but especially here in America, it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Well, most people, when they
that
say
what you were trying to
politics,
tell me?
like they don't actually
Yeah.
mean politics. They mean
No.
like some other stupid
True.
sports or religion bull ass shit. So it's
The
like,
same thing,
and when
though.
you can get people to like intertwine like their sense of purpose with like some political garbage,
Mhm.
like I mean, like Jimmy Dore's still making force to vote videos, like these people, like once you get like into that kind of like I'm in like the fight of good versus evil, and like it's really hard to break out of that.
Do you guys watch No Comment Chick?
I feel like I am.
I've seen a
There-
couple videos.
I
yeah.
have
Yes.
seen her, but I don't have enough time to watch everything.
Yeah, I appreciate
Come on
that
sometime,
content.
buddy.
I think that it's just I don't know what to do. Like I've been struggling to ask this one interview question. Like, do you think it's possible to have a socio-democratic society or system of government? And I just feel like, why am I even bringing this up?
Oh my gosh. Because it's
Like,
your show and it's your question. But,
well, it was
not everybody may be appropriate for that question, though. But there might be that
so
person that really is.
Professor Harvey Kay is a historian, a presidential historian.
Yeah.
He has a focus on FDR, and so it's like, okay, you get it. We don't have economic individualism anymore in this country. The majority of people are suffering and struggling, and
Yeah.
the system does not work for them. And you can
No.
say, like, we've got some good politicians. Okay, that I was driving down the street in Baltimore,
Yeah.
and I saw somebody picking up cigarette butts off the sidewalk.
Good
Make
answer.
your case. Make your case to them about this great politician that you fucking know about. That's not a thing. It's not a thing. They're looking at the system, not, well, at least this one
Good
person's
point.
in there. They're not looking at that. They're looking at it as if this has never worked for me. It's never worked for people like me. And I don't get it. It's that I always forget the meme, but it's like a plank, and we're all on one end, and then the one guy who's messing everything up is out on the plank, and if one of us moves, he goes flying. You know what I mean? It's like, we have the power. We can make this happen, but the system might be so corrupted now.
Hmm.
This is where I make my
Oh,
case
it
that there is
is.
no one good politician, because when you're a part of the system, you're at least systemically
Right.
corrupted. We need like 100 politicians to all get in at the same time. We need that kind of a caucus, right? We need that large group of people to go in and make a real difference. If we keep saying we got to vote for more progressives, I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not working. Like,
They
I don't
tried
it
to
know.
do
works
it in
in one very
2018.
narrow sense. Like, sure, there is more like left-wing thought in the Congress or whatever, and that is good in its own environment. But also, like, fundamentally, like, the first step, in my opinion, would be education, because we have a population that's just fundamentally broken and stupid. Like, most Americans are just fucking stupid, and we need to educate them on a mass scale. And I really don't even think politicians can do that. I think probably musicians and artists and other kind of stuff like that are probably more well poised to like mass educate like a bunch of really stupid fuckers. That's just
You
my
know,
opinion though.
a great way to mass educate
Mhm.
people is if we had buildings that people went to receive.
Could you
You know what I'm
Publicly.
imagine
saying? They
such
don't
a
want
Public
you
thing?
to,
education.
they don't want people to be
Coincidentally, if
educated.
you put progressives on your local school board, you will find if you add those two elements together plus about 10 years, you will have
So
much better educated voters.
there's the silver lining that I always try and remind myself about. You can do so much at the local level and like the state level. And I think that
True.
it's worth people investing in community
Yeah.
leaders
That's how
versus
I feel.
paid politicians. And that's why I also constantly wonder, can we have any kind of like a dominant left wing political organizing in this country without
Yes.
a
Ugh.
literal politician as the figurehead? Can it be an
Yes.
entity like labor militancy? You know what I
We
mean?
have
Can it?
that happening
Academic.
now.
An academic.
Let me start by saying Sean Fain, not an academic, but he
That's what
is
I'm
a
saying.
representative of labor,
Yeah.
and Sean
Good.
Fain's a great example. We can have academics
What
as
if
Should
there
be
were
well.
a role
50
model
of
for
him?
children. He should be a
Exactly.
role model for children in American schools.
But let me throw this
He
at you.
should.
Sean Fain being one example. Teachers you could take any teacher and give them, a head of a teachers union. You can have the
Yeah.
same thing happening. But also think of what the Valley Labor Report did recently with their stream. I know I talked about it last time as well, but they directly raised money for a strike fund to give people who have less power the ability, heck yes, to get more power. That multiplied by years and popularity and trends, yada yada. That's I think our most surefire way out of this quagmire that we're in right now. But that said, there is absolutely no reason why we can't pursue those goals while also pursuing a goal of putting progressive politicians in seats of power, because there's just I have not heard the argument yet for not putting your energy into a progressive campaign for any office.
Well, I mean, it just depends on what energy, like I'll vote,
Fair.
I'll do canvassing, I'll do all
There
that
you
kind of
go.
stuff. But like at a point, like should we be investing 90% of our political,
Oh, there's a good point.
energy in the electoral system? Probably not. That's would be my
Especially when
take.
Yeah,
at
but the
best
local
you get it every
electoral
2
system was
years.
the only place that's maybe makes some dent on your life in a day to day. Who's running
Fair.
certain offices in town that make life easier for people, and it's
Well, I
not.
mean, I also would say like you could probably get more done with like 50 people and like a really well organized protest strategy, like
That's what
over the
I'm
course
hitting
of
on.
2 years, than
Yep.
politics. And then that's the thing is when you build that kind of infrastructure, like politics infrastructure only works in politics. Like
Right.
extra political infrastructure can be applied to
Like
politics, but
jails.
also works independently. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Moms for Liberty changed my life. The fact that
Yeah.
truly, I hate them, but I learned from them. The fact that 11 people filed the majority of suits that got books pulled out of school. Imagine if you had that go get 'em attitude with a different group of 11 people who are
They're
actually trying to
like
do good.
they're like speaking at the UN.
Yes, a tiny group of people that
Um,
simply are being smart about the levers that they're pushing on.
I
Well,
do
they
think
also got bankrolled by a bunch of rich ass
Yeah.
fuckers.
but I
True,
do
but they didn't need that money to make the phone calls. At the end of the day, the phone calls is what did it.
That's
They just
true.
needed the money to get organized.
there's a lot of people who talk like based on personal experience. I hear a lot of people talking in a way that I'm like, "What, are you a socialist?" And they're like, "Hell no." And I'm like, "But you're talking like one." And I think they don't get what it means. It's like a dirty word to them, but
Yeah.
what they want is things that you get from labor organizing. That's where we got
True.
the 40-hour work week. That's where you get a minimum wage at all, right? That's where you get paid time off, health insurance. And I think that if people start to organize around that obsessively,
Yes.
you can actually put time and energy into something and get policy change without politicians. Because I
Absolutely.
think the power
So
is in the people, and you can strike and you can just say, go fuck yourself, right? We're not going to
Is
do it.
anyone here familiar with the SpongeBob wallet meme format?
I am not, but describe it for me with mouth words.
Well, so we got Patrick. Everyone loves Patrick, right? He's a classic character. And then we got this fucked up guy named Man Ray. What's going on with that guy? So he's like a super villain or some shit, right? But they're teaching him how to be good, right? So Patrick is he's pretending to be a civilian on a test, and Man Ray hands him back his wallet that he dropped while on a walk. And Patrick says it's not my wallet. And then Man Ray opens it up, shows him the driver's license. This is your wallet. I found it's not my wallet. That's basically people with socialism, I hate to be the
Yeah.
one who's explaining the meme here, but I'm the
Yeah.
youngest person on this show, so I have to. But you can explain to them everything they believe. They go like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, I believe that." "Oh, you're a socialist." "Hell no, I'm not a socialist. Socialism eats babies," because they're fucking stupid. They're just dumb. They have fucked up in the
Yeah.
head syndrome. Like they're so
Yeah, but that's
goddamn dumb that they
prevalent.
don't know how to Google, "Hey, define socialism." Like
It's
that to
prevalent,
them is like
sweetheart.
like building a fucking goddamn space rocket is more likely to happen in their lifetime than Googling
Yeah.
what is socialism,
Yeah, I hate socialism. Why can't we be more like fill in the blank with the socialist country? You know what I mean? It's just silly.
Yeah. First of all, you're right. Second of all, I'll go further. It's not even that they're not willing to Google it, although I'll grant that they are not willing to Google it. But I'll bet
Yeah.
enough of them have tried Googling it before and saw a block of text and
Oh, they
didn't
can't
read.
read. That's the other thing, yeah.
It's not even that. It's not even that. the first time I Googled socialism, I saw a block of text and I didn't read it. I was like, though, I looking at the size of the words and the amount of them, and I won't understand. The second time I Googled
yeah.
socialism, I
Right.
did read it, and I was correct the first time. I didn't understand. It wasn't until the
Wait.
umpteenth time that I tried to figure out what it was that I finally got a basic understanding.
So you didn't get the Judge Janine version of the Google answer?
This is what
Able.
I will like.
Impression.
I prefer to read essays on things. Like, I don't want to read Capital by Marx, but I'll listen to lectures about it.
Boring.
I'll listen to
The
lectures
Cliff
about it.
Notes.
And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
turned into, well, I mean, these are experts breaking it down because the
Sure.
experts disagree. And so I was listening to this long, it was like 2 hours, this long YouTube video, and they said, okay, well, maybe on the next part we'll get to chapter 1. And I was like, we need a new book. Like, I get that there's some important
Oh,
stuff
that's
in the book,
funny.
but we need a contemporary version of this. We need something more modern. We live in a headlines world. You know what I
My
mean? People read the
Yeah.
headline and give up.
Let me, just in case there's
Give up,
anybody out
it's so
there
true,
who
though.
who has an interest in this stuff but is of my style. Here's communism. Everybody in a given country owning what is known as the means of production, the gigantic tools necessary to make things, factories and whatnot. Socialism is just the workers that are related to that tool owning the tools in some manner, usually through a shared agreement. Like, if we all work at this duodenum factory, then we all have some say in how the duodenum maker, I don't know what that is, but apparently they make them there. We all have some
Duodenum?
say in what
Isn't that part of your
happens with that machine. It's the little thing in the back, I think.
No, that's
Is that the
sorry.
uvula?
Yeah, the duod. I think that's the digestive system.
Yeah. Wherever they make duodenums in a
Wherever they
socialist
make 'em.
economy, the people who make them would own the duodenum maker.
Okay.
The widget maker. I'm just being goofy.
I know. I like it. I do. Oh, Kim says Sandy's tired. How do you know, Kim? I just cleaned all day. Oh my
Why?
God.
You look
We are
fantastic,
32
though.
Why?
minutes past the
Because when
hour.
I came
Fresh
home,
and
everything was disgusting after being gone for a week, and I worked on cleaning the cold wood stove since it wasn't working. Since it wasn't hot.
Wasn't
So
working?
you clean them out once in a while, but they have to be cold. Can't do it when it's hot.
I always
Didn't
clean
know
my
that.
house before I go on vacation. So when I come home, it's like,
Right. Others already said that to
like a
me. Why didn't you
museum.
do that? But you don't have a cat rescue all over your house. And I had somebody checking in.
That's part of what
And
I mean by
plus-
cleaning it.
Yeah, but I did. I did all that
by
before
not
I
having
left.
that.
Oh, yeah, well,
This is counterproductive.
It's not.
So good on you for
not
that,
to
though.
them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I
Not to
love that.
them.
I love that.
No, but and I did. It just to go away for 5 days takes 2 days worth of work. But today I took advantage of a situation and I was feeling good, so I made sure everything was, Plus, when you stay at your mother's, doesn't everybody's mother have a much cleaner house than they do? At least my
Hell
mother.
no.
Mine did.
I'm pretty
Well, mine
obsessive.
does. Oh, mine does. So, because she has no pets. So,
Everyone that comes into my house is like, "Whoa, did you
What?
just clean?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but I always every day. What are you talking about?"
Nobody does that at my house. They go, "Whoa, have you ever cleaned?"
Less
People go to
mess,
my
less
apartment
stress.
Not
and they're
that
like,
bad.
"Oh,
I'm not that bad.
you eat a lot of ramen, huh?"
I'm
You
eating that
guys out there, some
Momofuku
of you have been to
version.
my house. They know I'm not that bad. They do. I've had several from my chat have visited.
Really? That's super
Yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah, people camp or they come visit. Mhm.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Of course, I vet them.
Commune.
No.
I would love to start a full-on
I
hippie
don't.
commune. The problem
Kowalski's got the
is I
land.
would be there, and that would make it not fun for
Really?
me and everyone else.
Jake would always be like, "Everyone gather around. I have an idea how we can all work." And we're like, "Dude, we're
Then they'd be like,
sustainable already."
who's cranking the Live and Let Die soundtrack at 4 a.m.?
Well, that would be totally acceptable.
Andrea, what's your like viewpoint of of living on a commune? She's
Yeah.
not good. She no sound. I don't know. I don't think Andrea would like it.
What? Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
I mean, I'm open to the idea of a commune, but I don't want to be around anybody in a pandemic, so it's not going to happen
True.
for me.
Oh,
But like
it would be
ideally, like
isolated though.
in a society where things functioned, like I would love a commune. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Um,
cool.
So as Andrew pointed out, been going longer than an hour. I'm cool.
We
You guys are cool.
are 35 minutes and 21 seconds past the hour, everybody. Be
Well,
sure to
everybody
send in
knows
your
these
super
shows go.
chats.
I'm usually the one to poop out first, but
I wrote
I'm all right.
3 interviews
Nice.
today, so I am good. I
Oh.
do not have to get up and do that tomorrow. So
No, I've got
You
to
wrote
study.
3 interviews?
yeah,
I'm studying tomorrow. A new paper from
Oh,
Potsdam. 500 researchers have compiled all kinds of data on tipping points, and we've reached 5 of the, and there's 3 that are not quite reached. So there's my stimulating
Still
day
hope left.
tomorrow.
it's terrifying, man.
Yeah.
Existentially terrifying.
want to
Mhm.
want to
That's
read.
Somebody has
that's
to
why I
report
loved your
it.
show, Sandy. You wrestle with, in my opinion, the scariest topic, the
Mhm.
scariest niche there is, and you do it, frankly, with a vibe that makes me feel like I can take it. You know, like I
Yeah,
can
well,
endure the information. You're just
we're all in it
your
together.
counterbalance.
Yes. You know, people used to, Jennifer and I, we do laugh at things, not at those things, but people used to say, wow, such heavy subjects, and you guys are laughing. And I'm like, well, then leave, because life is humorous and it's absurd. And if we have what are we supposed to do? Cry through the whole show because everything's so fucked up? No.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, are you supposed to go? Okay, everyone, this next story is a real bummer. And then when you get done, you go, "See what I mean? Bummer, right?" Anyway,
Oh, man.
next
Yeah.
story. Brace yourselves. This is gonna suck. Okay, and then you get
We
done with
do
that, and you
that
go,
sort
"See,
of.
wasn't that horrible? I told you."
But
Like that
The
Debbie
told you
Downer.
is
I
the
have to.
best part.
I do the most laughing on this show, though. I really do, because this show to me is like such a relief from
It
that,
is, man.
Yeah, we
and
have
that's why
basically
we're
no
doing it,
plan going into it.
right? And that's why we do this. And see, guys, that's
We
why
don't
I
even
do
know
it.
who's going to show up, One of these days, none of
Yeah.
us are going to show up. It's going to be great.
Oh shit.
Dan from the internet said he saw a video clip and he likes the vibe and he likes Andrea's takes on COVID.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I think he's going to do well here.
Andrea, did you ever look for Jessica Wildfire in her readings?
Oh, I've followed
okay.
her
Oh,
newsletter
good.
for a while
I
now.
thought so. All right. I thought there would be a lot of commonality
James, I
there.
love you, man.
And she calls herself OK Doomer, and she's very astute at our planetary situation.
I agree.
Yeah.
Want to
thought you
read
would.
some super chats?
Yeah, let's
Sure.
do it.
I would say we skip right to the hyper chats. That's my
The hyper chats. That's me moving up and down, like getting hyper. Can't sit still.
So
Hyper chat.
got a bunch of members who have resubscribed. I'm not
Thank you.
sure whose
I mean,
channels these are.
they
You guys can check.
resubscribe or that just comes
Or
up.
still
That's
members.
Lindsay. And I'm Facebook friends with Lizzie. Lindsay's a gardener too. Sometimes I
Yay.
would just like to
Good
have
egg. Thank you,
just a
Tyler.
gardening channel.
I saw this chat earlier. Heck yes, Donald James. Me too. Me too, brother.
Super chat, you say? Thanks
Hey!
for the $5, Aaron. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much, Aaron.
Oh my god! I
And
gotta
and
put
yeah,
this
I think
back.
we did say super chat.
Holy shit!
Super sticker,
Hey.
$3.
Thank you,
Thank
Donald
you.
James.
Appreciate that.
Andy, you wish school tonight on
Again.
my
Super
Yeah.
sticker,
chat.
$5.
That's super kind of you, dude. Look at that. He was going around giving everybody. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
he's making the rounds. I like this one. Me and
Baller, dude.
Andrea don't agree on shit, but it's cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
Donald
come on.
James X was like
Donald,
the
Donald,
last,
you are a
the
follower.
last fucking guy on
outta
the Anna
here.
Kasparian did nothing wrong train. Like this guy was like holding
No,
up.
he's
the
not the
fucking...
last one.
Well, he was though for a while. Like he was that
Oh.
white knight, and then his armor just got pulverized to the point of vaporization.
Oh, I understand.
Uh,
I understand the instinct. I certainly do. My word. There was precious few people back in the day that were lefties online. Sad
President
to see someone
Taylor
fallen.
Swift.
Yo, Taylor Swift, don't get me started on Taylor Swift, but I gotta just say this now. Fuck that bitch.
It
She's made a
doesn't-
couple
Oh,
good
no.
songs, so I'll say that.
It doesn't mean that they were the best person of the year. It means that they generated the most discussion and interest, right?
Was she
Was she the
person,
person
of
of
the
the
year
year?
or something? Is that it?
Yeah. Isn't that what this is in reference to?
Oh,
well,
no, we're talking about
President.
musicians.
Well, that's his comment. You know.
Oh, I see.
discuss.
but I thought it was
Discuss.
I thought
Who
it
would
was
she
brought up
reach?
because didn't she just get
Oh,
Time
I
Life
don't know.
person of
I
the
don't,
year?
I don't
Did she?
read Time Life. I
No,
don't even
me
know what that
neither,
is.
but
she?
it's a headline.
I prefer Lifetime personally.
And I don't even have the time for a life.
I appreciated that, man. Oh,
Reflect the
Oh.
thank you
Sun,
very much,
$5.
Reflect the
Thank
Sun.
you.
Thank you.
Once
Feel
again,
free.
these
I
Make
don't
us
know
read
who goes
something.
to
should
who,
we call
but
them?
thank you, honey. Thank you. Reflect the sun, isn't it?
Why
sweet?
would you give $5 and not give us like a comment?
Make us read it.
Because
know what
she
I mean?
knows.
Like-
I know what she's thinking.
Oh, maybe it's we're
She
all
follows
supposed to
us.
just sit here quietly.
Oh,
Oh,
that's right.
All right, let's honor the $5. Give it a
Why
give
don't we
it a
do
dollar per
10
second.
seconds of
Yeah.
deep
Way
breathing?
too long. I don't really believe in meditation.
Okay.
Sometimes
Well, we'll
when
talk
you
about
hold
that.
your
I'm a
breath
believer in
and you
meditation.
let it out, it does calm you down. I'm not
Unfriendly
Marianne
atheist.
Williamson, but
$2.
$1 to split.
All
All
right,
right,
for
the
the
algorithm.
algorithm.
Yeah.
We got some funny
Yes,
people.
our good friend Al. Thank you.
That's
Oh,
funny.
Member for
Boom.
4 months. I happen to know which channel that is. Thank you, Donald James.
Oh, Dawn.
Much appreciated, brother man.
Hmm.
And by the way, if you want to listen to somebody who's learning some new songs on guitar and trying to get better and better at them, Donald James frequently streams when he's tooling around with the instrument. It's a lot of fun. I listen to that's how I unwind generally when I can't take any more politics.
Hot
There's
take.
there's a word of the year.
Is there?
Anticorpus
is it?
did something here.
Is
By the
super
way.
chat one word?
Pinker Bell.
Super
Wait, did
chat.
Pink's message go up already? Oh, Jake.
Run, Jake, run.
Oh, that's
I
such a
agree with
good
this.
idea.
This is a great idea.
That's-
Run, Jake.
that
You
really
would be
is.
wonderful. And you know what? You could try to be, not sell out to the pressure. And if you can, and if you could be one of the people that doesn't sell out, maybe you could start the movement.
Well, I mean, I just want to say
background.
this as Jake's co-host is that this fucker's always
Infiltrate.
loved Israel, so pro-Israel. I mean, like
Yeah.
That's
Thanks
for the
I don't
$4.99.
specifically
Wait a minute.
Netanyahu's
I
government.
don't really want her primary to wait. Oh, I realize what he said now. No,
Thanks for
I
the
don't want her. I
$4.99.
don't want her primary.
Well, you take the
uh,
money and then you give it to her.
I see.
Ron Burgundy will
Yes.
read anything on the teleprompter for money. Yes.
Oh, I really screwed that one up.
Thank you for the $2.
No. You're now you're here
I
with
got
us,
it now.
Sandy.
I got it now.
And let me just say, Benjamin Netanyahu, not a war criminal. Not a war criminal. In fact,
He's a great
good friend.
guy.
Yeah. Great guy. Great guy. I'm a fan of him and everything he's ever done. And I'm willing to primary Rashida Tlaib.
Why don't
with
you
my
primary
colorful
Netanyahu?
internet background.
Move to Israel. Primary him.
I don't think they have elections in Israel anymore.
Who knows?
Just wanna
Psych! They
know-
never had them in the first place.
Just
Hey,
want to know, like,
They did.
if
it's debatable.
this this level of devastation isn't enough for people to be like, whoa, full stop, then what is?
I saw a poll that was like 4% of Israelis are like, enough's enough, everybody. Like
Only 4%.
that's what I saw. You know,
But
a
what
lot of people
happened?
are like, I don't agree with Netanyahu, but when it comes to like the fucking war or whatever, it's like, and it it could be an outlier. I don't know,
Security.
but that
So
shit's
what
fucking
happened
crazy.
to the protest before this happened? The young people were protesting against him and his Supreme Court,
They
what he
passed a
wanted to
law that
do
if
to
you
change
protest against the war in Gaza, you get sent to jail for a year.
in Israel.
Yes.
Ah, I missed out. See, I try to ignore
Also,
some of these things. You know, Jake, you say that I can handle, but I can only handle things that are in my lane. And when I start getting overwhelmed at that, I tune out. I can't do
I
anything about
understand.
it and I tune out. But then I can't
Yeah.
do anything about, CO2 rising either. But I guess it's more
You are.
palatable to me.
You specifically are doing something by telling people about it.
Yeah, I think you do a lot.
You've made it your profession, by
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I'm worried about APAC. Why am I the one? Wait, whose channel is this on? Y'all should read it.
I don't fucking know. It doesn't tell me.
This is me. Zero PE with a $4.99 super chat. I'm worried about APAC primarying the squad and all the
Yeah.
protesters forgetting about all this by the next election. I got news for you. They're going to
It's
forget
not
about it
just
way,
APAC, it's
way
CPAC and
before
all
that.
of them. It's not just APAC, it's CPAC too.
But
Don't forget.
what I think here is, and this was to my point that I was making a moment ago, like when is enough enough? It's not that I don't know what you're going to do about super PACs, right? I don't know what we're going to do about that. Political action committees and all the
Ugh.
fundraising and international and corporation and dark money. I don't know what you're going to do about that. But the people forgetting about it before the next election, the people just, or like, I don't care, or it doesn't interest me, or I can't pay attention, or I can't walk and chew gum, that's got to stop.
Well, that's the media changing the narrative to
well-
manipulate people to what they want.
Okay, yeah, currently. But I think in terms of the way it's stopping is something, an entity, an organization, something needs to begin advocating for the people with actual results. And the more I think about it, and the more I ask about it, and the more I look at it, I think it's labor militancy. I
I
think
think you're right because it's
that
working.
is what else? Like what else can get you the policy with or what you would the results of policy change without waiting around for the policy. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? It's like this game has been going on
Exactly.
so long. It's not
Smart.
working for us. The rich get richer. They own the government. It's an oligarchy, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't work for the majority of people.
Oligarchy will do.
And
So what do you do about scabs?
That's what I'm saying. Is
That's
like
desperation because they
once
need work.
and this is where I'm like, hey, I'm just the idea guy. Okay, I don't really think.
Yeah,
this
I
stuff
mean,
through.
I say there's
But-
so many dumbass fuckers, and then also people that genuinely need money. That like, I don't know if you'd be able to get around the
I
scab
think
question.
that's why I say you need the results.
Or a
because
scab
we already
fund.
we've had unions in this country for how long? I mean, we need something that people can get behind to the point where there are results, and then tidal wave. Then people are like, this is it now we're all working 4 days a week and the rich people are getting taxed, and they're trying to get the Supreme Court to make it that you can never pass a wealth tax.
That's crazy.
Like,
Can
why?
anything really
Obviously,
never
you
say
got
never?
paid to do that.
Insane.
Like, so what we need is
No?
something that generates enough results that because people are like, yeah, I wish I didn't have to pay for healthcare out of my check. Yeah, I wish my taxes went toward healthcare versus more war stuff.
Yep.
And the industrial complex. So if you had something that would result in that, and I know I'm oversimplifying it, but if we had something that would result in that, boom. So like if all the channels covering here's what Donald Trump said that was crazy and here's what he's going to do, I almost don't give a shit. Because if the people if they were benefiting from the things that we actually need, right?
Yeah.
Then we could potentially overrule the Supreme Court decision. Nah, it doesn't matter. Who says? The cops, what? That's a union too. I don't know. This is why I say, like, I'm oversimplifying it and it starts to get messy in my own mind. But I just think
Not
that
all unions. Fuck the cop
I
unions.
know,
They're
but
fake. They're not real.
there
It's
needs
just
to
it's a
be,
fraternity of Klansmen, if anything.
I agree, but
Seems
there needs to be an
seems so.
overwhelming um influx of results from something not the government, and I can't think of anything else at the moment. You
I
know?
think you said you were addressing two different issues. One being the overwhelming amount of one being
Because
people
we need
forgetting
people to
about things.
yeah, that's where I
The
was going,
other,
is we need people to focus, and I think that's how we do it.
yeah, well, you're to me, I see that as two separate things. I agree that having wins will help keep energy up and will probably help people focus as a result of that. But
Mhm.
I think you can work on the problem from both ends. I think you can do like a recap of the news that just it doesn't give you the deep detail, but it does like this happened and this happened and this happened. And if you pair that with I'm talking now like the format of presentation for whoever's doing this. If you pair that with wins and losses, that ties in very well to things like union movements, which are not reliant on every 2 years an election, but can in fact happen any moment of any day. And you can go as local or as wide as you want. Big
Right.
win, that's the UAW. Little win, that's this coffee house in this city
Yeah.
that just
Uh-huh.
unionized. It's fantastic. Great, Matt. The broad strokes, what you're talking about, putting the focus on things which have the potential to turn out new victories every day. Genius. I think that's the way. I think that's the way forward. That's probably going to inform the content I do from here on out.
I mean, we need to start focusing on things that matter, and one of those things is getting people to, it's a commitment to be engaged. But if the reason it feels like such a stress to make that commitment is because you're busy paying bills and wondering where the money's going to come from.
And what
So
Sandy said
if
earlier.
the commitment alleviated the stress, then see what I
Yes.
mean? It's like,
Yes.
so we need like this sudden influx of, oh shit, I don't have to worry about, oh my God, I have healthcare. What? I was talking to a guy randomly in the grocery store. He was complaining about just coming from the doctor, and he turned to me and started complaining about it. And I said, yeah, and he couldn't afford it. And I said, wouldn't it be great if instead of
Yeah.
you having to pay your insurance out of your paycheck with your taxes were taken out of your check and that went to your insurance? And he goes, oh my God, that's what we should be doing. And I was like, are you not paying
Duh.
fucking attention, my man?
No, they're not.
This is,
They're not.
It's maddening.
Americans are fucking
it's
dumb. They're
killing
in their
me.
own
I
lane.
know,
They watch
Andrea, I'm
fucking
telling you.
But
football. They
I
they
get
just
that.
do all their own stupid shit
I
because they're
think in this
they're
case,
just fucking dumb. I
I
don't
think
know.
in this case, the guy may
Very
have been
articulate, Andrea.
struggling to
That's
the
true.
point. I think if you're suffering enough, you're not paying attention because you can't. It's
Mhm.
like if my foot hurts, I'm not going to pay attention to shit until I figure that out. And if I can't
Right.
figure it out, I'm screwed. So then
Right.
society gives me things like 2 liters of soda and fast food
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
football. And
God, I
and
love
football is
2 liters
sponsored
of
by
soda.
beer. And you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, now I
Oh,
have a
not Bud
soft
Light.
drink.
Not Bud Light.
You
Yeah, but
can
now I have a
go
soft
spend
lifestyle.
hours and hours of your precious little free time struggling in vain to try to raise your pay, or you can take $2 from your meager pay and instead of putting it aside in a savings account that you will be able to finally access 40 years from now, you can buy a tiny amount of happiness in the form of bubbly sugar water for tonight. And everybody chooses that latter option. And I do too, because we live in hell. You're right. There needs to putting it in other words. there needs to be a dopamine kick tomorrow. There needs to be a dopamine kick and an excitement from the action. It can't constantly be immediate reward for the lazy, terrible system that we have versus delayed reward, hypothetically. And when you get the reward, you won't even remember the work that went into it. No, the work needs to be associated with the reward, which means they need to happen closer together. Hence, union movements are perfect. Strikes, tons of work, tons of reward. And from that moment on, everything you buy with your increased paycheck, you feel it.
Yeah. Just have to be sure that the corruption doesn't begin like shift over, because it's like worthy revolutions only, and that means don't fight the revolution if we're all just going to get wiped out and then the same people who are in power now stay in power. And it means don't usurp a government and install the exact same problem that that government had, right? It's like it's like, that's why it's like, what is the end goal? To have a more transparent government that works for the people, more oversight, less privatization. And so that's why I think, again, labor, unions, put the power
Well,
in the
one
hands of the
issue with
people.
labor and unions is there's a lot of people in unions that are also really fucking stupid and like Trump supporters and just like they're just like that their fucking heads are screwed on backwards, right? So it's like, we need to have that paired with education. You need to educate people on why unions are good, what they do that's good, and how that's linked to a broader, political project.
Then progressives need to run for school board and stop with letting this moms of fucking liberty bullshit happen, and and implement inoculation therapy, theory, which teaches kids how to inoculate themselves from bullshit and decipher what's real and what's not, what's true and what's not. There's a whole psychological theory on that called inoculation, but that won't happen in the United States unless we had a progressive slate of people. But even in locally, I thought about it, but I have no kids here and I have no grandkids here, and so I don't know, and I'm also the crazy cat lady with the ecology flag, so don't know if I could win. I mean, I was in education for a long time.
Slay.
Just needs to be in the hands of the people, and you can make these decisions. Like, I always fantasized at work if like there were what they call 180-degree reviews, where your supervisor reviews you and you go, okay, thanks. Now here's my review of you, buddy. Right. And it's like, yeah, you're going to want to fucking think about some things, right? Because now there's more employees than supervisors. And if the employees are reviewing the supervisor, we can get rid of you. We can move somebody else
novel up. And as
a
professional in that field, it's a compelling, interesting.
Right?
I always thought it should have been that way.
And by getting rid of your supervisor just means no, now you're one of us. So you get to know what it's like to review a supervisor. This is how you learn. Yeah. So it seems easy, but you're right,
and
Sandy.
I think it would help a supervisor. Yeah, and it could help supervisors have better performance if they knew. But then again, does it have to be anonymous because of the vindictiveness of people not to be able to take constructive criticism?
So
and then there's, so it has to be designed well.
Here's another aspect. What if, currently you're in a union and half of you are quote unquote right wingers and half of you are not? If you're getting that influx of results and people are actually all getting what they need, I'm not saying what you want or what you've been told you should or shouldn't have.
Thank you, Nadia.
Like if it's a right or a privilege, you're getting exactly what you need, what your family needs. I think your politics become an opinion for discussion. I don't think that matters.
Yeah.
I don't think that is like, oh shit, well, this could all go away. I don't think so. I think if people suddenly stop suffering en masse.
And I think you also stop
Right wing
like
what?
Has it
blaming
ever
the
happened?
Jews, you know?
No, but has
Like,
that ever happened, the
Not in
suffering? I mean,
America.
but I also had a question earlier, if we go back, just about corruption and every single society and every single civilization. Has there been corruption in every civilization? Has there been?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say most civilizations have fallen because of corruption, but whether or
Mm,
not corruption is like
in
a
depth.
present thing at all times, I'm not sure. I mean, it's
Yeah, I
hard to
don't
say.
know.
I
I
do
don't
think
This
we
is
have a
yours,
tendency
Sandy.
to
Thank you.
use
It's Nadia.
I'll comment on that later. Let's talk about this though.
All
I gave
right.
it 10
The
bucks.
publicly visible political apparatus is a sham. I love Nadia, by the way. Nothing short of a revolution suffices. Contelpro and Gladio like things prevent any reforms, and lobbying is just renamed corruption. It is corruption. 17th of July, 1918. She's like in our Discord, she's like the walking knowledge of so much, Nadia.
Oh, red.
Holy
Nadia,
shit, man.
I mostly agree with you. I to play, and I enjoy doing this for the sake of making us all better communicators. The word revolution always confuses me, and I say this as someone who uses it all the effing time. Uh,
Right.
I would ask Nadia, and you don't have to pay again. I'll see the comments. What do you mean by revolution?
She's
What do
very
you mean by
generous.
revolution? That's it. To me, when
Yeah,
I
how
hear
do we do it?
revolution, what I think people are saying is a wave of vocal and honest candidates
Like
who
a
take over.
revision. You
Yes.
need a
You mean
revision.
not revolting by just not going to work? Everybody?
No, no.
Not
I mean
because nobody
I
will do
mean
that here.
putting people in power who change how the structure of that power works.
Right.
So put people in who have the intent to change the system and who campaign on the notion that they'll change the system. That's what I generally
Like the
mean. What
Tea
do you mean?
Party
And
Well, I
did.
would say like it needs to go beyond actually like intent. Like you need to have blackmail on these motherfuckers. Like you need to have every fucked up shit that they've ever done dangling over
Good.
their fucking faces so that they'd have to do like, you know, I don't
I
want to
like that.
say at X point, but I think good old blackmail will suffice. You don't
Which
need
is what?
something else.
Doxing.
No,
Really, right?
who's
Modern
the
day doxing.
hacker? Who's the
You can
one
do all
hacker
those.
that shows
See,
up?
Nadia, I disagree with you there. I see your
Wait,
other comment.
what'd she say?
You will large. I won't get us banned for saying it, but
Okay.
physical
Yeah.
conflict
See, that's what
will
doesn't
lose.
work.
I
Is the
see.
answer.
Now,
Yeah,
I
Thank
I
you.
mean,
feel
I
like
don't think that that's necessarily
No.
impossible. Like you
I
could have small scale,
It's
insurrectionary
happening all
actions.
over the world already.
okay, but hold on, because the cops are basically just the security force for capitalism. So the second this is why I feel like I can justify it in my head all day long. The second somebody does that, to fail. This is why I say worthy revolutions only. You cannot overpower the current system. You can only ignore it and do something else. And that's why I think it's kind of funny that I'm oversimplifying it once again. But if you just ignore government and go, okay, whatever you're going to fucking vote on, I don't care. Who George Santos, none of that matters. Who's the president? I don't care. Supreme Court, what? We're over here making decisions for ourselves now. Unless you make that illegal, which I
That
guess they could,
that type
we're
of
just ignoring
cultural
you.
revolution is,
Yeah.
I think, probably our best bet, and I'm including even the political process here. That is probably the cultural revolution wherein we take hold of the levers of power, including those outside of politics. I think
You
that's
mean in
probably our
religious
best bet.
institutions? The levers
To
of
some
power
degree,
are
yeah,
quite
if you're influential
strong
in your church.
here.
But
I
I
just
mean
want to
more what
avoid
Matt.
all of that. Yeah, I want to avoid
Well,
the
that's what
bloodshed.
I'm saying. More
Well,
what
I want to
Matt's
also
talking
like
about, where
point out that like even if you do win in a revolution, like it doesn't necessarily mean that things are going to go well. I mean, like Haiti exists because of a revolution and then they just got fucked by everyone around them,
Right.
right? So it's like You need to have, if you're going to do a revolution, which I'm not necessarily against, it needs to be after you get enough people on board with it that it's an impossible fight against. You know, because like unless you have like 20, 30, 40, 50 million people, the cops are just going to kill everyone and walk about their business.
Well, yes, but first of all, agreed. Second of all, then we have the problem of might makes right. But third, and perhaps most importantly, the 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 timeline. Let's just say we take our own personal moralities all out of it. If you're just looking at it in terms of efficiency, the timeline of that, of getting together whatever we're going to do that topples whatever, is much longer than what Matt is suggesting. If you're looking for the fastest and most proven way to get things changed, grab this capitalist society by the coin purse. Matt's onto something, I think, especially when it comes to labor activism. Oh,
Yeah,
my
like
word.
I've never declared war on another country, but I'm supposed to go along with the fact that it happens, I pay for it,
Yeah.
and there's an acceptable loss of life because the bad guy, who that sounds like the bad guy is the one saying that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it you're
Yeah,
making me
like a
think
Bond villain.
like if I'm supposed to, if there's an acceptable loss of life or justifiable amount of casualties in order to get the bad guy, stop sounding like the bad guy because you don't want those tables
Yeah.
turned, right? So what I say is, and this is how I lead my life. Remember earlier when I said my dishwasher broke and I have never used a dishwasher since because I was like, I'm not replacing that. I can just wash the dishes.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we can just ignore
Never
what we
broken
were
one, too.
taught, but we can ignore what they taught us was the way and do it manually. So that's where I'm coming from. Like, how can we just ignore the current system? Be like, we're fighting politics. We're fighting
Can't
politics. Oh,
ignore.
you kids are going to have to learn what I learned. You're just,
Another reason.
yeah, you'll
Another
never
reason
get there.
that Matt's suggestion here is so interesting to me is what Melanie Davies just said. Is it say it right? Melanie
Dennis.
excuse me, Melanie Dennis just said.
Hi,
She
Mel.
said we need I'm so sorry. Wait. We need worldwide strikes, economic
Yes.
boycotts, hackers, etc. Here's an
And stop
interesting
paying
angle.
taxes. And there is a way to do it right through your payroll.
No, don't stop paying taxes. That's not what I'm saying. You can say that. That's not
Well,
what I'm saying.
if we just
That's
stop
where we
paying
get the
taxes, they
healthcare.
would just print more money
No, I
anyway
know,
because they
I
don't
know.
Let me
actually
focus
really
on
But
this
it just
use our
wakes
money.
them up.
comment for a second. This is significant. Worldwide strikes. Think about in
Yay.
politics, you cannot ask another country to help you. In terms of a worldwide strike, though, the auto workers of one country can side with the auto workers of another country. We can truly grab hold of more levers of power than we are assigned by the country we happen to be born in.
Mexico
What a powerful
auto
tool.
workers were striking on behalf of the U.S., weren't they?
Yeah, we won't make any cars to be sold to the US as long as the US is suffering under their healthcare system. And oh, by the way, the UAW in the United States joins that strike. Things like that are plausible. We just need to A, start thinking like that, and B, start demanding it. Yes, James.
Hi, James.
I
Snow
love
at my
snow.
house. Joe, James, just watch my videos. I've made a bunch of them already. You know how I do that. I make the videos
You know
of
how I
snow.
do?
Yeah, they all know because I have that one playlist, the Disabled Able Gardener, and I put all that crap in there.
Check it out. Everyone,
out.
take note. Thank you. My dogs are goth. $10.
Oh,
Happy
yeah.
birthday,
Thank you so
Matt.
much.
Party show. We got to have a party show.
Happy soon
That's
to be birthday,
Canadian
sir.
currency, so I'm not sure where in the world Canada is.
It's more in
but
America then.
It's like 4.5
like somewhere. Hold on.
pennies worth.
It's up. It's up.
It is.
No,
It's
Canadian
north
money is
and
actually
south
yeah.
and east of me.
America's
like-
cowboy hat.
$12 American, maybe 11 something.
And I
Yeah,
want to
the
thank
difference.
Gary G. Ballard for that $20 super sticker.
Beautiful people.
Thanks,
Thank
my
you,
dog
Gary.
Jagoff.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
Gary's wonderful. Thank you.
Baller, both of
Gary,
you.
you're awesome.
$7.40 American.
Gary ought to
I'll
watch
take
your
it.
show. He has to watch your show with Harvey JK because Harvey is advising Marianne Williamson and Gary is a big supporter of Marianne. And I was thinking just out of the blue of writing her to see if she'd come on my tiny little
You
show.
should. You
Why
should.
not? What an
She did
interesting
Olime's.
interview she would be. And she
I
does a
fucking
lot of
sent her
different
team an
shows.
email requesting
did?
to come on my show. I didn't even get a response.
Nothing. Well, I mean, I thought I could try.
Well, she's having team troubles of
She's
late.
very busy. She's busy. But just
That's
for the
true.
fascination of listening to her, she's very
Oh,
interesting.
yeah.
Besides the scientists I bring on, which I'm working on, but she would be interesting. I don't know if I could. I don't think it would fly. It's like, okay, we are beyond tiny.
All right, everyone.
Why not? She
I
might.
just want to announce that I may be the one to pull the plug here for me. I'm getting pretty tired.
Yeah, it's 12:12.
You
It is
know, I
late.
don't want to start a trend here. Feel free to keep going.
No,
But
I'm
I'm gonna
tired.
end it early for me. This is rare. I
tired.
don't do this.
I know it's you and Matt that usually stay up and shoot the shit till the
Yeah.
wee hours of the morning.
And now,
Oh. Well, everybody's been
Wow.
enjoying watching. I mean, that what's cool is also on the West Coast, it's earlier, and so when it is on for the West Coast people, they always miss things because they're too early or they're still at work. But I guess I'm gonna say
True.
goodnight too. And let me shout out Nadia, thank you, and Looney Tunes, thank you for moderating, and Kim, thank you for moderating, and everybody that came. We like to do this because it is different for our channel to be able to, bring this content. And I'm very happy, Matt, that you invited me and that Antonio is also part of this because he's phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All
Love
right.
that guy.
Thank you. I do too, very much. And I love all you guys. And so thank you, Jake, and thank you, Matt. Jake, keep the ideas and that mind going. And we will see you on our channel Friday night, 9:00 with Jennifer. And we will be going over the tipping points. Not a subject we haven't dealt with before. We've been dealing with it for years. But this one, okay, a little bit new research. So peace out. Good night,
Awesome.
everybody.
See you,
Mwah.
buddy.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Dang it. I got to get better at that.
Um,
Oh, it's just us, partner.
yeah. Where is it? Where is it? Look at this funny screenshot I took earlier.
That got me. That got me. That was good.
They start flashing that on the screen for no reason. I don't know.
Just jump. Wait. Don't let the gals know you've got that. Just jump scare us with it next week. Put in my
Hey,
little stream.
now that Andrew is gone, I'll make a police joke.
Okay.
Why did the coffee call the cops?
I don't know why.
Because it got mugged.
Dang
Get it? You get it,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes. I'm trying not to be such an easy target, but you got the delivery for this.
That is the key. My wife has said that. She's like, somehow you tell jokes like it's a real story, and all of a sudden it's a joke.
It draws me in.
There were a couple of jump scares in the chat. People are saying happy birthday. Thank you so much. My birthday is Sunday, December 10th. I'll be 49.
Oh man, he's still a baby.
How old are you?
What in terms of liver? Close.
I thought you were saying you were older than me.
No, I mean, let me put it like this: you are 11 years younger than my father was when I was born. There's plenty.
Okay.
There's plenty of adventures to start.
You're telling me, dude.
my-
I got to 40, and I was like, I was on top of my game, self-employed, great health.
Wow.
It was
Well, I'll have one of those.
It was between 40 and 45 were the best 5 years of my life. It was the most solid the first couple of months leading up to 40, like the last few months of 39, I didn't anything could happen. It could go any way. I it was rough. It was a real struggle. And then 40 hit and I was like,
Is that when you got the Hellboy call?
no,
When he said do everything from
it was before
the
that.
villain's backstory? Oh, this was before that. What happened then? What changed?
Well, I realized this is life. In your 20s,
Took you 40 years to realize you were alive?
no.
All right, what
No, what I'm about to lay out is life. 20s is like, oh, I'm super independent. I can do whatever I want, which is just debauchery for most of us. And then we ruin it all. And then in your 30s, you're spending all your time making up for what you should have done and all that wasted time in your 20s.
Yes.
And so by the time you're 40, you're like, well, fuck all of that. I've been doing this long enough to know that none of that matters. And the only reason it bottoms out at 45 is just most of us can't stay ahead of the natural physical stuff that happens when you're that much closer to 50. That's all.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? So, but I
Complicated.
think that I like had quit a job that I was doing really well at and became self-employed with the understanding that not the understanding that I may fail. It was with the understanding that if I fail now, it's my fault. And this is where I embraced my life is nothing but
Yes.
problems philosophy. You go through life feeling like, and I'm not a coach or whatever they call it, I'm not a guru. This works for me. Now, I understand it may not be the case for everyone, but you go through life thinking, man, it's just one obstacle after another. It's just nothing but problem after problem, right? And you feel like you're not in control. But when an obstacle arises, when a problem rears its ugly head, you have to adapt. In that moment, you are in control. If you're imagining some unforeseen force or entity out there that's throwing these obstacles and problems your way, kick its ass the second you have control, which is in the moment where it's up to you to adapt. So if you do not overcome the obstacles, you will have a wall built around you. You're fucked. If you do not address these problems, they will mount. They will overwhelm you. You're fucked. So my thing is, a problem, it may be annoying at first. I may get frustrated or be like, I am not in the mood for this. Who is? That's part of adapting because you get over that and then you address it and you knock it out. And I think maybe I even told you this once recently, but like my whole goal is to just go back to the couch reading comics. It's not any great thing where I can be like, oh, I solved all my problems. I'm the hero of it all. Let me tell everyone. It's just so I can like not have that shit on my plate. And so at the age of 40, I realized if I fail now, it's my fault, which means I'm the one who can adapt. I have gained control. Whatever happens now, I will kick its ass. Like, and I
Great
would look at it as it was a fight, not a struggle, but a fight. And you're capable of winning that fight. So, and then 45, I was like, no, I hurt for like no reason. I cannot hold my liquor at all anymore. And that was like, okay, I'll just back off that. But I actually got really bored. And I'm just sort of like talking endlessly here, but I got really bored
Fascinating.
with the independence and I got bored with the self-management. I did it so well that I was working like 40 hours a month. And I was earning just through the hustle of my own freelance and commercial contract work. I was making close to 6 figures, working 40 hours a month.
It
And I was
sounds like you were there.
I really
You were in
figured
the
it out.
ideal.
Yeah, I figured out how to do that. I was like, oh, as soon as I got my manager and my boss and the CEO, as soon as I got them out of the way, I became really successful, and it was super boring and I hated it. And so I went out and got a job that paid like 45 a year, a full-time job that paid 45 a year. And it was so awesome. I was working with some of the best graphic designers I've ever worked with in my life. It was like an elite team of production artists. Um, we kicked ass and took names as a team. It was so rewarding. The money just did not even matter to me. And of course, like if you can succeed on your own merits, but it was the kind of company where you just wanted them to be better. You wanted the
Yeah.
company to succeed, and you didn't feel like a cog. You felt like you were contributing to the overall success by doing your job as well as possible, not just looking out for yourself. Do you know what I mean? So, and then,
Let me pause for 1 second, because if I don't
yeah,
say this, it's gonna haunt me. Donald
okay.
James, thank you so much. That was really generous of you, man. You've been a baller tonight, and I appreciate it. Second, I want to hear the remainder, but I'm getting off course. I'm somewhat confused. What you were saying that you were looking forward to, like, or where you are now, where you're like, I'd like to just read comics. Like, I'd like to just have that set up. But it sounds like you, for all hours of the month but 40, were there. Would the boredom not creep
Um,
in again if you went back to that?
yeah, I only need to be reading comics for so long.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
it's not like my full-time choice. I want to do this. I give myself all kinds of projects
I see.
that I
I
don't
see.
that I don't profit from, but I benefit from. And
Yeah,
this, being on camera doing this stuff, is one of the coolest
it is super fun.
things I've ever
It's
fucking been
super
a
fun.
part of. It's so fun. I'm meeting so many cool people, not just the guests, which is awesome, but like all the people in the chats. And one of the coolest things is when people come along and they're like, "No, man, I just discovered your channel and binged like 10 videos." I love that, right?
That's so much fun. Yeah.
Because when you work for a company, you're not the face of the company. Nobody knows you're there. I used to have, when I was in the corporate world, people would come up to me like salesmen and they'd say, "Hey, dude, I know that you're the one making this happen behind the scenes, and I think you should get more credit for it. But I just wanted to let you know that I recognize it." And I'm like, "No, that I don't need that. Well, I work for a corporation. Obviously, I'm not going to get credit for this." Right?
That is what I miss about it. Is
Yeah.
I enjoy, like, I feel, what do they say? Those two wolves inside me. It's fun doing this job, but the fact that you are also then the face of the whole venture, that is not cool to me. I like the grace you have as at least quasi anonymous person. Uh,
Yeah. And
but
isn't it cool that I threw it all away to figure out how to be successful on my own? And what I realized was, no, it's all that infrastructure at
yeah,
your average company that is totally in the way of
yeah,
success and ultimate like profit. They're in the way. And so that's,
I have a theory.
okay.
I have a theory I'd like to share with you. Have you ever seen that chart where it's like productivity over time and it's just skyrocketing?
Okay.
I- I'm fully of the belief that we have been in a 30-hour work week for like 20 years at least, but probably longer if I'm honest. But there are people whose whole career is busy work, built upon an
Yeah.
industry of busy work
There's a book
because
called Death by Meeting.
exactly. It's just
How many fucking
as the
meetings?
greed continues, we are literally wasting generations of human endeavor with nonsense just to justify us getting a little piece of that pie, an increasingly shrinking piece of that pie.
Yeah, and then when whoever owns the company or the investors get tired and they want to switch gears, you're irrelevant. They turn it over to somebody else. It's like, yeah, we want our own people. Let's get rid of these people. And you're like, what was I doing this for? That is, and that's what most people think in the moment is I've been wasting my time. I've been trying to prove my loyalty and now they abandoned me. What I think is, and we're still going to do 40 hours a week though at another job, or like the people you bring in to replace me are still going to have 4 or 5 meetings a day. You don't have a different, better system. It's the same system. How does every company have? I know they tweak it. It's generally the same. Think about it. You get up, you go to work, you come home, you go to bed, you get up, you go to work, you have your weekends off unless you need to work overtime. It's all basic. You get breaks, you get lunch. There's here's your benefits. Oh, we're changing the benefits. Oh, too many of your coworkers use their benefits. It's going to go up a little bit. It's all the same. All this shit
Because
is the same.
at the top, it's a great deal. At the top, you get to be essentially a lord, but in the modern day, you get
Because
to
they maintain
ruin
that
lives.
bullshit. That's
Yeah,
why. Because it's not.
exactly.
They'll tell you, oh, they got a CEO has to have his eye on the bottom line. No, he needs to maintain that facade that we all need to do this for 8 hours or whatever. So weird. So weird. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's garbage. But anyway, don't get me
Man.
rambling about how I like to get to the top and then reset.
No, I mean, truly, I'll not try to drag us back into anything. I just do want to be clear. Like, you've talked about similar things before, and I find it a fascinating conversation because I do think it's the core of the problem that we have right now. There's all the other stuff, all the tragedy that breaks hearts. Those are just side effects of this greater, more boring, more long-term tragedy, which is we're literally wasting people's lives with nonsense. It's I don't have a flowery way to put it. It's nonsense. It's people pretending like they have to do a bunch of things, but they don't have to do those things in order for a rich guy to have 17 yachts. It's the most effed up. And I find it also interesting when you talk about when you left it and then came back. That's where my mind is blown. And I'm glad you found a place that was in like that mentally spurred you on, like it held your interest. And even though I can't fathom that for myself, at least at present, I like to hear what elements from that you enjoyed. Because to me, when we whittle away what doesn't work about the working world, what's left is going to be what you're describing there: being part of a team, having somebody whose job it is to deal with all the busy work and all the boring stuff that you don't like, and yada yada yada.
I used to have coworkers. I'm not kidding. This happened several times. Maybe it was just Colorado. Maybe it was just Boulder County. I don't know. But people would quit and you're like, what are you going to do? And they're like, huh? Oh, I didn't really need a job. It's like, what? And they're like, oh, I'm independently wealthy, or I have a condo in Breckenridge that I rent out. And it's like, so wait a minute. You're
Why
like
were you here?
you're like one of the people that sucks at this. And now it's obvious you didn't even need to be here and you were acting like it. So what I think is, and this is when I went back to the workforce, I did that same thing the right way where I overcommitted to the point where they were like, dude, pull back, slow down. You're doing too much. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna keep doing this. And I was like, what are you gonna do? Fire me? I already know I can be successful on my own. Guess what? I don't really need this job. So I wasn't the kind of person who didn't need the job and it was obvious. I was the kind of person who didn't need the job. So I was like, my goal is to not be bored.
Yeah,
I'm not going to fucking
yeah.
sit here. If I have to be here for 8 hours, I'm going to go full bore for 8 hours because that's how I want to be. And if you're telling me not to be that way, this is crazy. You don't want people to work as hard as possible? I love it. But if I do want to work hard as possible, I should be allowed to, right? And so it got to the point where I was like, just really confident in the fact that I didn't have to, you know, work. Okay, so then here's the other thing. You want to talk about white privilege. That's how it worked. I was a
I
white
can't get in
American
trouble.
male. I was a white American
Sorry.
male who could quit everything and make it work. That's exactly what was happening. I am the bad guy. I understand. And so that's
Eh,
why I would dedicate myself to organizations and projects that would benefit not me, anybody
yeah.
else. I ran 24-hour when I was working 40 hours a month. I was running a local food donation, 24-hour food donation
Oh, wow.
outlet. Yeah. Somebody could tell us I could have 2 weeks of groceries to you in 24 hours. So, I was doing all kinds of stuff like that. So I fully realized, if I was anybody else, it probably wouldn't be possible for someone to say, I can walk away from any job. And like I said, I had to really figure it out. So there was that. But having the opportunity to figure it out was because of my the color of my skin primarily. It's like when people say, "No, what do you mean? I had to work my ass off for what I have. I don't have white privilege." No, the opportunity to work your ass off is white privilege. There are people who won't get that opportunity. Do you know what I mean? And that's because
Yeah.
they're not white and male. So I get it. Um, and all the industries I was in were pretty much dominated by that. And that's another reason why I didn't want to because you get high up and you're like, oh, it's a bunch of bros sitting around. Do you want to talk about boring? I'm out of here. It's another reason I don't want to do it is because I don't want to be a part of this
I
men's club
am
or whatever.
generally of the belief that you should do a step down philosophy with this stuff. So if you can benefit from your privilege, I think you should. And you should look always one step down and make sure you're not perpetuating the same privilege. That my reasoning being most people will not even think about the privilege involved and will perpetuate the problem as they gain power, not even with malice, just because in their mind that's the way things are. But on the other hand, if you were to say, I believe, I don't know, but I believe I am getting this thing because of my privilege, I'll do the decent thing and not accept it. You just that gap's going to be filled by the dummy that didn't even think.
Yeah.
My point being, I think it's more likely to end this for the next generation by us taking advantage of it, basically.
I mean, I don't think I would do anything differently. I mean, obviously, I would.
Well, I mean,
There are
obviously, you don't pay the women the
mistakes.
full
There,
dollar; you give them 70 cents. But still,
well, but like that's a good one. But I just think that in terms of like career choices, I wouldn't do one thing differently. I mean, because consider the fact that
oh yeah,
I have no college degree. I like never even thought about going to college. I barely got out of high school. And
that's
so,
shattering a different kind of window too. By the way,
yeah.
there's plenty of people. If that industry was only full of people that had college degrees, and that industry, I know you've been in several. I mean, any of them. It would result in there being sorry, my weird fingers are on camera. It would result in there being a bias towards that. But the fact that you made it and you do a hell of a job and you're there, it opens the door for the next person. And it means when you get in a position to either hire or recommend a hire, you'll know what to look for in terms of a resume that may not have the qualifications others might be looking at.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that I want to talk about, but would never talk about publicly that I think the system does in favor of someone in my position that is totally inappropriate because I'm currently benefiting from it. So,
I can toss out one that is not terribly controversial, but I think
mm,
is accurate. Uh, Culture, truly just culture. If the industry has always had, let's just use the obvious, white men as leaders, and we are white men, we are more likely to know the culture these folks come from. And it doesn't mean like some calculating thing. Most of this stuff, what's important to understand, most of this stuff happens passively. It's easier for you to relate and bullshit with your boss about this, that, or the other thing, or be like, "Oh, did you see what's something all white people love? The new mayonnaise they came out with, or whatever." It's that sort of stuff. The stuff around the water cooler that gives your but when your boss later is thinking like, who of the coworker, who of the employees that I have do I like? Do I vibe with? Do I want to spend time with? More time with, because they'll be in manager meetings now and we'll have to drive places together. They're going to want to hang out with the person that likes the same music they do and watches the same shows that they do, and yada yada yada. And that alone, I think, is such a huge part of it. Even the way we talk, knowing what is a business tone to honkies, and I shouldn't use slurs, even if they're silly ones, but
say
knowing
saltine.
saltines, there you go. Knowing what's a business tone to saltines and what's a joking business tone, like that level of narrow cultural vibing can have cumulative effects over the course of a career.
We should wrap it up.
Yes.
I truly believe, like, if it was
Getting
one,
awfully saltine in here, by which I mean dry.
if it was one male, one woman at this hour, fine. But if it's two guys, boring.
It's not even a circle, Jay. It's a line. Yeah.
Good
All
talking to you.
right,
Good
brother.
hanging out.
Good hanging out. I'll pass along the results when we finally do the 24-hour block. And someday I'll share with the audience what the initial name was.
I thought
See you
my
around, my
I
friend.
thought my other name was pretty good. But
It
whatever.
was a good name. It was a good name.
Yeah.
I just wanted to call it the really foul thing.
I know. That's always the urge. All right. Good night, everyone. We'll see you.
See ya.
You guys, the show's over. What are you still doing here?